The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Summer's coming, but don't sweat it. Stay cool with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Beat the heat now and ensure comfort all summer long. Their expert technicians are ready to ensure your AC is in top shape. Call and schedule a tune-up today at 612-824-2656 or online at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Welcome to our pop-up sleepover. We got PG-13 movies, rated M video games.
So I stand up. I expected others to join me. When no one joined,
do the intro.
Ah, damn. It's early. Pretty damn early, which makes us appreciate you even more. Thank you for switching on the old 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Here we sat on a Thursday morning. Here we are on National Sleepover Day. Ah, what a treat when I was a kid to go over to a pal's place for a sleep by God over.
Those were the days. I mean, my house was very strict. You sometimes would go to a house where it's a lot less strict. They'd let you watch things that your parents never would, name brand foods. You could stay up late, all those types of things that I didn't get at home.
Yeah, I grew up in a bug-infested, broken-ass little house. Our place sucked. We had nothing. Going to a sleepover was a absolute treat. Cubby, I would fade off to sleep at my pal's place, imagining that I lived there. But I didn't. That's right, I didn't.
The mom comes in and tucks their child and you in at the same time, gives you a little peck on the head.
Did you get
good night, son?
You got tucked in by your...
We did. Actually, one of my friend's moms would tuck us in.
That's adorable. So nice.
Maybe
until 1984. That's when things changed for me.
Oh, the incident?
The incident.
Yeah, right.
We watched Temple of Doom, and the scene where the dude gets his heart ripped out scared me so bad that I stopped sleepovers until I think 1988, maybe. Wow. I couldn't do it anymore. I was terrified. That terrified me as a little kid.
And you could no longer sleep over at anyone's house for a good 4-year period.
Yeah, it took a couple of years for sure. Maybe only 2-3 years, but it was enough where I had to, I'm coming up with excuses why. No, I can't. I'd love to sleep over, but I can't for this reason or that reason.
Could you tell if the other kids were freaked out by the heart scene, or were they just like, yeah, this rules?
Well, it wasn't until I was older that I realized it, because I've seen it in my kids. The more scared they are, the more bravado they put on ahead of time, or just kind of inappropriate laughter. Like I'm laughing at this terrifying scene because, it doesn't scare me, but inside they're miserable. They're terrified.
Just trying to save face a little bit.
That type of thing. And so, like in the opening clip there, hey, I don't think we're supposed to watch something like this. That was definitely me.
That's hilarious.
Adorable, Josh.
Oh, that resonated with me so well. Like, hey, guys, no. Our parents really wouldn't be cool with this.
I do remember one time at a sleepover, one of the very first ones, we were in first grade. It was a birthday party, rented some Royal Rumbles, that type of thing. And I asked my friend's dad, I said, what time do we have to go to bed? And he looks at me and goes, I don't care. I'm like, wait, what? Really? We can just stay up all night. He goes, yeah. What are you asking me for? Go have fun.
So wait, there's no vegetables at dinner. We don't have to eat any vegetables.
Yeah, it was a real riot back in the day. Had some great times, at my pals' places, playing floor hockey, in the basement, cable television, pizza, and then as you got a little older, sneaking out the house to go meet girls.
Those are fun times.
That was so much fun.
Vandalism, petty theft.
Oh, my gosh.
Getting chased by the cops or angry citizens. Beer drinking, mooning cars.
We used to take
Here
a buddy's.
comes a car. We're going to moon them. That's what did you show your privates to the cars?
Never did anything like that, but
Oh.
we used to take a buddy's car out, his parents, and his parents were the type of parents who were like, hey, knock that off. But we never got in any trouble whatsoever. Used to take his dad's car out all the time. And it was a Lexus, by the way, which is pretty cool.
Oh, sweet.
Hey, you mentioned pizza. I wanted to thank the people at Devani's. It's one of my favorites. I've talked about them before. And they sent us a gift box with a bunch of cool Devani's gear. You guys have some gift cards in front of you. That was very kind of them. They made me a special personalized sweatshirt. It's got my name on it.
Yesterday, I said to Josh, I was like, dude, you could literally put that on, go behind the counter, and start bossing people around.
Oh, you
They'll
think
think
so?
you're a manager.
No. Not enough pepperonis. Got to throw more pepperonis on.
You just grab a handful of pepperonis and throw them at. That's not how we do things.
But I know we're all very appreciative, so thank you for doing that. That was very cool.
They sent you a sweatshirt.
Yeah, and I was telling Dana yesterday, so we opened the box because we're like, what's in the box, And we see it's from Devani's, and I lifted up my sweatshirt that I was wearing and showed I happened to be wearing my Devani's T-shirt, which I'm wearing again today. If I put it on a Monday, it's going to stay on all week.
Of course.
You got a couple more days left with that Devani's T-shirt.
At least one more day.
Thanks to those folks.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, seriously.
That was, like you said, pizza on sleepovers. That was a big deal because we never got stuff like that.
We never got any damn thing.
And you know what else? We never had sleepovers at our house outside of cousins. Like if there was a family get-together, cousins might sleep over. Only once or twice that I ever remember that happening.
Neither did we because
Our house was not the fun house.
there was nothing to do. I mean, it became...
And we had too many people. That was part of it as well.
It became the
definitely.
fun house. It certainly became the fun house when we got older. By the time we were 15 or 16, absolutely my folks' place, was the fun house because my parents supported underage drinking. So yes, it became the fun house. But when we were kids, no, it sucked. There's nothing to do. What the hell was I going to entertain my friends with at our house?
Exactly.
And cable television, that was also a big one for me. More than just three channels to watch. And the first time I ever saw televised boobs, that was at a sleepover.
Sweet.
What could I say to my friends? Hey, how do you boys feel about maybe going down into an ice-cold, unfinished basement? Does that sound like a good time to you? We could spend the night, we could all roll out sleeping bags and sleep on the floor of an ice-cold, unfinished basement.
Well, that's where my bedroom was. My bedroom was in the cold, bug-infested, non-finished basement up until maybe my sophomore year of high school. That was rough. Actually, no, more than that, because I moved back down there my senior year of high school. A little privacy. I wanted to have,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
wanted to have my own little
We
area.
know what you were doing down there.
That's where my brother's bedroom was, but he always had friends over because despite living in a basement like that, we were the fun house because we were definitely that house growing up that actually had like the name brand food and the Gatorade in the fridge downstairs.
We have, I'm not going to say we're the fun house, but there's my youngest especially. Well, actually, no, I think about it, the older kids did too. A lot of sleepovers. I mean, almost every weekend it seems like we have sleep. It's usually neighbor kids. That's easy enough. They just kind of stay over.
That's fun.
Medical
Well, and when you're out of town, your wife often has sleepovers.
I found that out recently.
Right.
Yeah.
Good for her.
You found that out with your doorbell cam, did you not?
Well, no, I found that out with some itching. It started with itching, and then I found out, she gave me an STD.
God help us all.
Medical Device Shipping Jesus said that he didn't watch that Temple of Doom heart-ripping out scene without covering his eyes until he was 14 or 15. Yeah, I was 9.
That one really bothered you, huh?
Oh, yeah, like I said, I was sheltered. I never saw anything like that. We had the 3 channels. We never went to movies.
You couldn't even watch the A-Team.
No, it was too violent.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can imagine a heart getting ripped out in front of you would set a guy back a little bit.
I didn't know such a thing could happen.
I was just reading something about sleepovers here on National Sleepover Day. Tell me how you deal with this. Little kid spending the night at his friend's house, and when he wakes up, he sees his friend's dad just standing in the dark watching the children sleep.
Yeah, that's a 911 call if you're a parent.
When I was a kid, though, I don't think that would have crossed my mind. I would have just thought, this dude is so... I would just...
Oh, come on. You weren't that friggin' naive as a kid.
I wouldn't call the police, probably. I'd probably tell my parents in the morning, but...
As a kid, you'd tell your parents.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. As a parent, I would call the police.
Oh, all right. Yeah,
you wake up
definitely.
in a dark bedroom and the parent is standing there watching, completely silent.
There was another story about a guy in 5th grade. He was having a sleepover. The kid whose house he was at wore a diaper at night, and so did their sibling who was a freshman in high school.
Oh,
do you believe that?
No.
I don't know.
I don't know if I'm buying it, but then again, you had pee pants problems. Well,
right. That was
if
my
you're
point.
not believing it,
Yeah, I had I wet the bed only until, I don't know, my junior year of high school or something like that. Almost every night, sure, and sometimes 3 beds in a row. But anyways, I had rubber sheets, like somebody in a mental asylum or something like that. Yeah, I never. Maybe we just didn't think about wearing a diaper.
Johnny, get ready. You have your ACT tomorrow. Put your diaper on. Go to bed early.
My buddy had the dad who in the morning would wake up and just, it was his house. He was going to walk around in his undies. He didn't care. And my buddy would get so embarrassed. Like, Dad, put a robe on at least. He's just strolling around in his whities.
Oh. Yeah, my dad would wear a robe at least. Yeah, he never walked around in his underwear.
Oh, God.
Every once in a while, though, that thing would open just enough where you could see. He wore tighty whities, too.
99 times out of 100 between the years 1974, and I'm going to go, although I'm really going to go smooth up to the year 2000. If you stop by my folks' place, my dad was in just his disgusting, tiny, little, tighty whities. There were days I prayed they weren't white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You know what I mean? Oh, God. It was... he just didn't... He never felt the need to put on any damn clothes. And all my friends got so used to it, it wasn't even a thing. Sure. It didn't even embarrass me after a while. He was at least, I guarantee, topless. But 99 times out of 100, just his undersized little bikini briefs...
Cigarette in his mouth.
A heater going. Did not give 2 pumps what anybody thought about it.
I had somewhat of an experience just on Tuesday. My son had a newer friend over. And, the first time I'd ever met him and heard about him. They play video games together, go to school together and stuff like that. I guess he lives in the neighborhood. And so he comes over and then he leaves, right? And so I ended up at night, went downstairs in my underwear, right? And nobody told me he was back. So his first experience meeting his friend's dad, his dad went downstairs to the kitchen in his underwear.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I was kind of with my wife, I'm like, you never thought to say, hey, the kid's back. I had no clue that he came back. It was like at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I had no idea he was back. Totally uncool.
He had to go eat dinner.
No, I'm waiting for a phone call from his parents. Like,
Yeah.
hey, what the hell's going on at your house?
I'd be so pissed.
My sister saw a naked man before she should have in a babysitting situation where our family was close friends with this other family, and my sister would babysit for that other family. And so, because we were so tight, a lot of times when my sister would babysit, even once that set of parents got back to the house, my sister would still spend the night over there because it was midnight, 1 o'clock, and usually that couple was hammered. So, why bother driving my 12-year-old sister home? She'll just spend the night. The husband forgot one night that my sister was sleeping there, and I think it's pretty obvious what happened. The parents got home. Oh, how are the kids? Oh, they were good. Okay, good night. The couple went upstairs. The old man threw his wife into the tall grass, and then he was walking down the hallway to go get a beer or whatever, and he had forgotten that my sister was spending the night, and there he goes down the hall swinging.
That sucks.
Actually, to be honest with you, from what I was told, they all laughed their asses off about it. But
Well, that's good then.
It probably shouldn't have happened. I'll go ahead and say that.
How do you feel about this one? I didn't ask to be born. She just said she woke up while sleeping in her cousin's room one time to her uncle watching them from the doorway. When he asked him about it in the morning, he said, "You sleep a lot like your dad." So she said she doesn't sleep in his house anymore.
God dang.
I wouldn't. Nope. Don't talk to that man anymore. It's scary.
Yeah, there you go. National Sleepover Day. You ought to come
Those
over.
were so fun.
They were great.
Mm-hmm.
It kept me going as a young kid.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there was nothing to look forward to at our house. I got just absolutely pumped when I found out maybe, like 4th, 5th grade, I'm going over to Donnie's for the weekend. Loved it.
Yeah, I think they're officially done between me and my girlfriends.
I'm sorry?
The only time we'll probably have sleepovers anymore will be like if we go to my friend's cabin. It's not so much like, hey, come over to my place and spend the night anymore.
Well, yeah, you're
I finally
26
lost
years
that.
old.
You all have your own places.
But girls do that for a while.
They do?
Yeah, definitely way more than dudes do.
Like you just say, hey, do you want to have a sleepover
Yeah.
in your 20s?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure it's not like just crashing someplace because you're too drunk to drive?
No,
passed
it's
out.
definitely a planned out situation.
Like, do you play Monopoly and things like that? Or you guys make
yeah.
some
You
s'mores?
brush each other's hair.
Call
But, yeah,
boys on the
do
phone.
do some girl things. Do face masks.
Pillow fights in the undies.
Watch the Kardashians and make fun of them, stuff like that.
So
Really?
again,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was happening.
yeah.
you're saying at 26 years old, you're officially done with sleepovers.
I think we are. It's been a while since we've had one. So
You know how some people are home bowl people where they can only go to the bathroom a number 2 at home.
Yeah.
That's it. They will suffer any amount of uncomfort because they have to go at home. I'm related to a couple of them. Luckily, I'm not that, but I am a home bed person. I don't like sleeping anywhere except for my house. So even if it's a long distance, I would much rather spend the entire day driving home and back if I have to. I've even thought about that in our Wisconsin trip. Like, I could probably, if I stayed up all night, I could go home and sleep and then come back and be back in time for the broadcast.
Well, you're tough like that, and you love to drive.
I do love driving.
God dang it! What
Did
just
anyone
happened?
else? Okay, your ear went out too?
And now I'm good. I know, but the headphones aren't working suddenly.
Uh-oh.
As an adult now, I mean, you got people like Ashley. I don't know what the hell she's talking about over there, 25, 26, still having sleepovers.
There's some girls checking in saying they still do it. Coffee needed cheeses. She's 38, still does it. Vertically challenged cheeses, 45, still does it. Well, this is news to me.
But like Josh was saying, most of us, yeah, you still might crash at somebody's place now and again to avoid a DWI. As an adult now, crashing at somebody's place, that's a tough gig if you're a sexomniac.
Oh,
right? You didn't think about that, did you, Wapple?
No.
Tough
never thought of
gig
that.
for a sexomniac to sleep at somebody else's house. And if this is the first time you're hearing of sexomniacs, I know we've discussed it quite a few times on this program. That's apparently a condition, a sleeping disorder, where you attempt to have sex with someone or you whack off while you're sound asleep and you have no recollection of it once you wake up.
I'm glad I don't have this to my knowledge. I don't want to be the guy that jerks off in his sleep. But as a person that sleeps at home, at least there'll be less witnesses. But I would hate for my wife to tell me that. I have a friend I suspect is a bit of a sexomniac because he'll tell me, yeah, my wife told me I made the moves on her last. I don't remember at all. Or he's fondling her in the middle of the night and doesn't remember. So I wonder if that's something he's got going on.
The first 5 or 6 times we heard about this, I didn't buy it. I just didn't. But I guess the more I read about it and the more common the story comes up, I guess I have to fall into line and play the game. I guess it's a real thing.
Well,
I
text
thought
us.
it was all nonsense.
651-989-9393. Are you a sexomniac or know someone who is? Oh, God, I can't imagine. My brother told me I was drunk one night and I got naked and crawled into when we lived with our parents, crawled into his bed with his girlfriend was in there too. He snuck his girlfriend in there. And I still, to this day, I don't believe that happened. There's no way I would remember something
What, that
like
your
that.
brother had a girlfriend?
That too, yeah.
Well, your brother must have had balls. You talk about how strict your upbringing was, but your brother at one point snuck his girlfriend into the house.
Well, yeah, because we had, like I was saying earlier, our bedrooms were in the basement, and so nobody ever went down there because they were disgusting. I don't blame them. And it might be child abuse that we were down there. I'm not 100% sure. But so when because we had the same, until my senior year of high school, we shared a bedroom. So it must have been, well, no, because it must have been a year after when I was in college. That's
okay.
Because I never drank till I was 21.
So you were over 21.
Yeah.
You got drunk. You took off every last stitch of your clothing.
Yep.
And you crawled into bed with your brother and his girlfriend. Because the two of you were sharing a room?
No, we were both in the basement.
In the basement.
Yeah, so I had
You don't believe it?
I still to this day have trouble believing it.
Maybe he's just messing with you.
He seemed pretty serious about it. I mean, he seemed like he had a good sense of humor, but I don't know why he'd make that up.
And before you start texting saying, well, yeah, I'm a sexomniac. One night I got real drunk. Or my buddy once got real drunk. We're not talking about drunk escapades.
That's way different.
Very different. Plenty of us have gotten blackout drunk and you walk off the front step and break your ankle. We're talking about folks who this is just when they fall asleep at one point or another, they're going to try to bang you or they're going to bang themselves out.
Bug Thug Jesus said his ex-wife used to masturbate in her sleep.
There you go. Okay.
I think that'd be kind of cool if your significant other did something like that. Actually, well, how would you feel about
that'd be hot stuff.
I wouldn't like that.
Oh, you really?
No.
Oh, I think it'd be awesome. Is there a way to give it to someone? I'd like to give this to my wife.
Oh, yeah.
Can she take like a pill or something?
Can you catch this?
Yeah.
What do you mean you wouldn't like it? You were just telling us the other day about how much you enjoy watching a man masturbate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the sound.
It would be, there would be days, though, where I would just want to be able to sleep, and it would keep me awake.
You go lay on the couch, for God's sake. Call one of your friends, have a sleepover.
I will.
I wonder if that's common with women or more that's just kind of who you are. So you wouldn't like that?
No.
I mean, I could see it getting annoying if it's every night.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's every once in a while?
I'd never get tired of it.
I guess, every once in a while. Maybe it was like, I don't know, a couple times a month, then I could deal with it, then that'd be all right.
This is really crazy. I mean, really it is. To think that you could, I know there's been some serious court cases. I guess I should say one that I remember us discussing where some kind of a sexual act happened, and this is a long time ago. Forgive me, I don't have details, but whoever was being accused put the event, chalked the event up to a case of sexomnia. But this is so bizarre to think that you would full-on molest yourself to orgasm or fully mount someone while sound asleep. It throws me that this is a thing.
I had the wildest dream last night that I had you doggy style. Right around 3 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe your brother's just busting your chops, claiming.
Maybe, but he seems pretty serious about it.
I mean, not that I haven't heard similar stories, or seen similar things.
I mean, I peed in a closet when I was drunk, but I was sort of aware all of a sudden. I mean, I guess somebody said something to me. Maybe that's different.
You kind of snapped to a little bit?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's a little different. All right, so real quick, if you're texting in and you don't want us to use your name, put that at the beginning of the text because I almost just read the text and gave the name until at the very end they said, don't use my name.
Oh, I hear you, sure.
So this person said, my wife told me I used to try and get frisky while sleeping. No idea I was doing it. And then he got a CPAP machine and it all stopped.
Oh, interesting.
You get a little
You're
deeper.
Getting some real sleep.
Deeper sleep. You get the oxygen in your skull.
This person said it's absolutely a real thing. I used to do it all the time, but I haven't in years. Turns out my wife misses it.
Oh, wow.
She's reading a book at 2, 3 a.m. She looks to the left, and you got your D in your hand. I miss those days, she says. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. If they, how they have chicken pox parties for little kids? If you could have that with your significant other, somebody has sexomnia, they all get together, hang out a little bit, then everybody leaves with it. That'd be a pretty cool world. As long as everybody knows what they're getting into and they all want to be a part of that.
I wonder if sexomniacs gather at hotels and then, by damn, just let the games begin. They send out a group email and say, okay, nobody sleep for about 48 hours. And then meet here at the Super 8. And we'll see what turns out.
Speaking of hotels, this person says, many, many years ago, I was with a bunch of buddies at a hotel. One of them passed out or fell asleep while the rest of us were awake. The one that passed out started humping the bed like there was a lady there.
Weird. Oh, that would suck. You can't live that down. You're going to get made fun of for that forever.
That's why I don't want to have it. But it would be cool if my wife had it, I think.
Listen to this. Again, sexomnia is the subject here, where you fall smooth asleep, and at one point or another, you get active, touching yourself, trying to get up on somebody else. Here's a guy, his wife would regularly try to fold him while she was sound asleep. She would also masturbate and call out other men's names, including a coworker.
Oh, boy.
That led him to believe she was cheating on him. This went on for years. She thought her husband was making it up until her 9-year-old kid told her, "Yes, Mommy, I hear you moaning in your sleep."
No.
Oh.
No. That'd be a nightmare.
Kind of goes back to what we talked about yesterday.
What did we talk about?
Catching a kid catching their mom or dad, having at themselves.
Some here say that sexomnia is genetic.
That's something you don't want to know.
Yeah, that kind of ruins it a little bit.
Because then you might be wondering, well, which parent? This person says, every night my girlfriend wakes me up shaking the bed while playing with herself.
Every night.
Is she sleeping or just that she just does that before bed?
I don't know.
Boy, there's a lot of people who might have a case of it. I was going to say a touch of it. Case of it, or their significant other does.
It's really interesting. Really effing interesting. I've never... Again, I'm taking alcohol, blackouts, and silly drunk behavior completely out of the equation. I've never seen anything quite like this. But, Josh, that story your brother's telling you about you getting ass naked, maybe he's just playing games with you. Maybe he's busting your chops, trying to embarrass you. I had a group of guys, and there's no way that this happened, yet they insisted it did. And they were just busting my balls. I don't have a doubt in my mind. Got drunk, crashed. This is up at Lake Mille Lacs. Oh, where the hell was I? Doesn't matter. Crashed at a house, and most of the folks there were younger. And when I woke up in the morning, they tried to convince me. As soon as I sprung off the couch, they were all like, "Oh, dude, he's awake. No way." Right? These younger dudes. And I said, "What's the problem?" They claimed that I got up off the couch, went into the kitchen, got a sleeve of Ritz crackers and a fork, and attempted to to eat Ritz crackers on the couch with a fork. And I said, that never happened. They were insistent upon it, and I know it was just a joke, because I had been 5 times drunker than I was that evening and never did anything like. So anyway, I think they were just trying to make me, out to be a jackass. There's no way I forked Ritz crackers into my mouth.
That'd be tough to do.
In my sleep.
Yeah, a lot of crumbs there.
Slightly below average Jesus said, slightly below average Jesus said his girlfriend told him quite a few times he masturbates in his sleep, but he doesn't believe it. Until now. Now he believes it.
We're providing public service today.
I'm actually really surprised how many people are texting in saying they have it or somebody they know does.
Fair enough. If you're a dude and you're whacking off in your sleep, god dang. You just roll over on top of it after it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no cleanup involved there. You just,
that's cute.
and then you roll over. That's terrible. You go through a $1,000 a month Tide budget.
Nah, you can go a few loads before you throw in a load, I think.
Can you imagine that? You just...
Why am I in my 40s having wet dreams? That's definitely somebody you don't want to share a hotel room with, I think. You got a buddy that does something like that.
I'm wondering how many of you are listening right now while loading up and heading out for the opener.
Oh, yeah, Mother's Day weekend.
She's the opener. If you are, be careful. Good luck. Josh, if you were a fish, what kind of fish would you be?
I don't know. Maybe a catfish? I don't have the aesthetics to be a better looking fish.
Yeah, that's a really bad looking fish.
Yeah, they're not pretty.
I hear you. We got to take a break. Oh, my God. Yeah, we really do. Look at the time. You're a great crowd. It's a gorgeous Thursday morning. And we'll be back here before you know it on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our technicians are geared up and ready to make sure your system is running reliably this summer. Regular maintenance from Standard Heating helps prevent costlier breakdowns in the future, and we know they always happen at the worst times.
Summer's coming, but don't sweat it. Stay cool with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Beat the heat now and ensure comfort all summer long. Their expert technicians are ready to ensure your AC is in top shape. Call and schedule a tune-up today at 612-824-2656 or online at standardheating.com.
What companies would you want to work for? Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks which companies are a force for good. Companies like Bank of America, which just earned the prestigious Just Capital 2024 seal. Bank of America is ranked #1 in the banking industry and #1 for their ongoing commitment to workers, offering best-in-class benefits, including a minimum wage of $25 an hour by 2025. Visit justcapital.com to learn how a just business is a better business.
Furnished by Just Capital.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, so if you missed it, a few minutes ago we were talking about sexomnia, which is apparently a real thing. And apparently we're surrounded by sexomniacs.
We really are.
So many of our listeners texted in and said, yeah, I masturbate in my sleep. Okay.
Can you imagine just how erotic a giant sleepover with all the people that text in and us would be? There's a lot of people that are going to be masturbating as soon as they fall asleep.
It'd be,
and some of us while we're awake.
Some while awake. It'd be a terrible mess. Sexomnia. You fall asleep. You don't have to be drunk or on drugs or anything like that. You fall asleep, and at one point or another, you're going to whack off or you're going to try and fold somebody in half. Gotten quite a few texts on it. Here's one from Pipefitter 539 Jesus. And he said, I had sleep sex back in the year 2001. I had sleep sex with a girl by the name of Tractor Ass.
Whoa.
Oh, I want more information.
Yeah. Oh, I've never been so sad to hear a paper get crumbled up. I wanted more.
It's all he wants you to know about. Tractor Ass.
See, I'm looking up a bunch of tractor manufacturers to see if there's a name that would make sense.
Jane Deere?
Yeah. John Derriere?
Missy Harris? Is that where you're going with that, Jeff?
I'm trying to see if there's something that's butt-related that...
Oh, I thought you were just trying to take a tractor name and turn it female.
Oh, no, just trying to see if there's a butt-related to... I'd like to know why they call her Tractor Ass. Like it's got big tire treads on it?
Big tires, baby. Big tires. All right. One of the douchiest schools in all of America held its, how do you call it, the graduation commencement thingy a day or two ago. Ohio State University. Douchey. Top to bottom.
The Ohio State?
I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, I just didn't understand why you would disrespect it in that manner.
You didn't understand even who I was talking about because I did not refer to them as the Ohio State University. Although I did like it when television wrestler Brian Kendrick, for a stretch of time, went by the Brian Kendrick. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay. Ohio State University had their graduation commencement thingy thing. And apparently some clown bag who made a speech to the students at the event made an ass of himself up there. It says here that the guy that made the terrible speech is called Chris Pan. P-A-N, Pan. And feel free to text me that bit from the other guys. People seem to love it. He graduated from Ohio State in 1999, and nowadays he's something called a social entrepreneur. He's a social entrepreneur. So the speech was loaded with nonsense. It was so dumb the students went ahead and booed him. Afterwards, the dude, Pan, he claimed that the speech was garbage because he says he wrote it up a week ago while high on that silly ayahuasca.
Oh, the stuff that Rogers took when he was in the darkness retreat.
So he wrote it a week prior and never looked at it again.
Yeah, what was he thinking?
Right. See, that's
going to be perfect.
I don't
sure.
think I'm buying it.
No. I don't know that that's ever happened.
Right. So he wasn't high at the time that he gave the speech, according to this story. He was high when he wrote it. And like Josh just said, he didn't think to pre-read it beforehand and realize it was garbage. That's why I'm not buying this. He had to have looked the speech over at some point. Nobody writes a speech for 12,000 people. That's how many folks were at the Ohio State douchey commencement. Nobody writes a speech for 12,000 people and then never looks it over beforehand.
Or, has a trusted confidant. Hey, can you take a look at this? Is this okay?
Yeah, definitely.
I think the guy just sucks. And sucks at making speeches, and he's looking for a hip way to make excuses. So the young people would go,
oh yeah, ayahuasca. That's really cool.
Right.
Yeah, now I like the speech. I saw a bad commencement address at a college graduation not too long ago. It was kind of like the person I don't believe was on a substance, but it was kind of like when you go to a wedding and like a drunk buddy of the groom gets up and obviously hasn't prepared anything and he decides to start telling inside jokes and starts to tell a story but switches to another. It was kind of like that where I think the guy was almost riffing. None of it made sense, and we're all kind of looking around like, does anybody get it? There's some inside jokes amongst the actual college part that he graduated from, like his discipline.
Sure.
It was really, really weird. And I was watching closely the other commencement, the people that would speak and like the president of the college and stuff on stage, and even they were kind of like, you could tell, trying to keep a straight face, but like, what the hell is going on with this guy?
Mm-hmm. Back to this Pan guy who made the terrible speech at Ohio State. It was 17 minutes long. I'll just give you some lowlights here. He asked the students to get up on their feet, and then he led the audience. This is just terrible. He led the audience in singing part of the absolutely terrible 1993 song. It's just so hard for me to even say this out loud. He got folks to start singing the song What's Up by the Four Non-Blondes, which is just simply one of the most horrific songs ever created.
Is there a different version?
No, why?
No.
Well, you said the horrific song What's Up by Four Non. I'm just thinking of the song. I didn't hear the bad one.
Don't do this to me, Josh.
Have you guys heard the bad one?
Oh. He made school leaders and faculty behind him sway and wave their arms while he was singing this. He tried to lead everyone in a breathing exercise. He talked about cryptocurrency, whatever that is, because I still don't know. He cut loose with a lame sleight of hand magic trick that turned a bag of quarters into a Bitcoin, whatever that is. He then attempted to bust into another song. At that point, the crowd had seen enough. So I don't think he's telling the truth here.
I agree with you.
But he says, I was high on ayahuasca. I mean, come on. I've done show prep for this here radio show while real drunk, and then looked at it the next day and realized it was dog feces. Somebody had to have taken a look at it. Don't give me this cool, hip, laid-back answer of how high you were.
I think I would have preferred this speech to the one that at my college graduation. The guy kept going for cheap pop after cheap pop. He'd talk about writing the speech. He goes, "It was late at night and I was stumped, so I did what any U of M student would do. I went to Mesa Pizza, huh? And everyone's like, yeah, that's the place you go to get pizza late at night. Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. I like the first
He's
one.
just like me.
First one, people were like, kind of like, yeah, that's fun. And then he's like, yeah. So then I was walking home and I go past Murphy Hall, huh? You know that building, Murphy Hall on campus?
I know Murphy Hall. I was there once or twice.
It was so
One guy in the
cringy.
front row raises his hand. You mean the joint down the street? Yeah, that place.
So bad.
I'm a U of M student, so I understand all these references.
God bless America! The oddball Jesus said he graduated in 2014, and the person giving the speech was higher than a kite, and it was hilarious. Apparently, she couldn't do large crowds, so she loosened up a little bit.
Got a little too loose?
Our believe it or not, well, maybe they did, and I just didn't go. At Normandale, Harvard of Bloomington there. I don't remember that we had a ceremony. Maybe we did, and I just didn't go.
Did you go and get distracted by the ping pong room that you've talked about before?
Well, I did that instead of going to class.
Oh, okay.
So maybe in class they said, what was going on, and I missed it. So I never had a college one, but our high school valedictorian, how do you say that?
Valedictorian?
Yep, I know the word. I can't say it on the radio. Was awesome. Absolutely awesome. What a great speech.
I remember nothing from that. But
I don't remember ours either.
You graduated from Normandale.
I did. It took me 4 years to get a 2-year degree.
I don't know that I ever heard that you graduated. Obviously, I knew you went there. Well, good for you. Congratulations.
Are you congratulating my Associate of Arts?
Yeah. Hey, let's have a grad party for you this spring, Josh.
I never had one.
Yeah, that was 20-some years ago. Congrats, dude.
We'll get a cake, some pulled pork sandwiches. Good to go.
And not a lot of people can take 4 years to get a 2-year degree like I did.
Takes talent.
So you don't remember that gimmick when you graduated from Normandale.
But I remember my high school one because I remember how good the speech was.
I got to do it now. I'm going to do my imitation, again, of the worst speech I've ever heard. Do you see this here? Do you see the purple on my pants? That purple is for the Vikings. Go Vikings, beat the Bears. On December 1st, 1987. That's a direct quote from Mike Tramp, lead singer of White Lion, at the old St. Paul Civic Center when they were opening up for Kiss on Kiss's Crazy Nights World Tour.
I wish I would have saw White Lion in concert.
Dude.
How was Vito Bratta? One of my favorite guitar players. One of the most underrated guitar players of all time.
Dude.
Yeah, dude. I'll bet.
They sounded great. They did. But when he gave that little speech to try to win over the crowd about the Vikings beating the Bears, everyone in the audience looked behind themselves and said, is he talking to us? I don't give two pumps about the Vikings. I'm here to get absolutely inebriated and see a Kiss concert.
Go Vikings, beat the Bears.
Why are we talking about the old NFC Central? Why are we talking about the rivalries of the NFC Central when you've got a hit song called When the Children Cry that we're waiting to hear? You know what I mean?
Hey, look, he's got purple pants, just like the Vikes when they play at home.
Right.
She's Juice Jesus said it took him 12 years to get a 4-year degree. He said, no one asked how long it took you to get it. You just did it. Mm-hmm. Boy, I'll tell you what. This is what's fun about taking 4 years to get a 2-year degree. Now, keep in mind, I was enrolled full-time this entire time. I just didn't go to class. Because in high school, I never missed. And in college, I realized nobody cared if you showed up.
Yeah, you could just be chill in college. Show up when you feel like it.
Yeah, and nobody said a word. So here's the best part about it is I got to pay for 4 years of school to get a 2-year degree, and that 4 years only took me about 14 years to pay off. So that's pretty cool. I recommend that highly.
Congratulations, Normandale graduates. You know, when I was on my way here tonight to give this speech, I was traveling on 494. I was. There I was.
On there.
I'm telling you what.
You know what I just got done eating? A Juicy Lucy.
Yay, Minnesota things.
I've had one of those.
How about that loon?
Now, I know what all of yous must be texting in right now. All of you. And I don't blame you. Yes, I know When the Children Cry was not even on the charts in December of 87. It really didn't become a hit until the following year. I know all of you are texting that in. I'm sorry. Wait was the big single in December of 1987. I just want to nip these text messages in the bud, Josh, because I know everyone is texting that into me right now.
Yeah, a bunch of people.
When The Children Cry was played during one of our religion classes, a kid brought it in and brought some white line in, and the teacher allowed us to listen to the whole song.
What an absolutely unforgivably bad song.
When the Children Cry?
Absolutely.
You didn't even like it during its time?
Absolutely awful to the point of unlistenable.
Oh.
And I don't like to say bad things about White Lion because then that one dude's going to text in about Radar Love.
He just texted in. I was going to mention a good friend of the show has texted in. We've never met this person. Anytime the topic of White Lion comes up, he likes to tell us, in his opinion, how much their cover of Radar Love sucks. And he's
love
wrong.
him.
But When the Children Cry is unforgivably awful.
Oh, I liked it when it came out.
Oh.
And if Mike Tramp's listening, we could write a sequel called When Mike Tramp Cries, from the terrible things you're saying about that White Lion.
I love Mike Tramp, like everyone else in our listening audience.
Oh, look, Medical Device Jesus all of a sudden doesn't like Radar Love, the cover by the cover version.
Who?
Medical Device Jesus.
Oh, well.
How do you not like that? You usually have good taste in music.
If you don't like that song, then you obviously don't get music. you just don't, and it's not made for you. All right, we got to keep going here, I think. Unless one story, is that enough for us?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, wouldn't that be sweet if stupid news was just one story and then we
wouldn't that be a lot easier to prepare?
And we go home. Yeah.
Come on here and tell one story. We're good.
And there is no morning show anywhere on planet effing Earth that talks more about Mike Tramp and White Lion than this one right here, and I'm proud to say that.
That is cool. There's a few bands like that.
I have pride in that, Josh.
You kind of talk a big game about it, I'd say.
I do. All right.
These guys have no idea what we just did there.
Nope.
Ashley,
yeah?
Turn on your, what do we call these things here?
Computer?
Computer. Turn on your computer, Ashley, and watch the music video for When the Children Cry, and tell me if Mike Tramp isn't one of the most beautiful beings you've ever seen in your life.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to know.
Yeah, I want your take on Mike Tramp.
Do you like guys with long hair?
It depends.
Okay, off to a good start.
He is gorgeous.
Oh, good. I'm glad. You got to hear him talk.
I want to.
She already did.
I could imagine him standing under a waterfall, shirtless, water running through his hair.
And now I can't get that image out of my mind, thankfully.
God help us, Josh, the vampire facial.
Oof. Yeah.
And it's not what you think, Pornhub fans. God help us, the vampire facial. And I'll have to learn all over again about this. I remember some things, but not everything. The vampire facial. Now, the story calls it here a procedure popularized by old Kim Kardashian. Now, this is not good news. At least 3 women have been diagnosed with HIV after receiving a bloody vampire facial at a New Mexico wellness spa ski.
Ew.
According to the story here, these cases represent the first documented transmission of HIV via contaminated cosmetic injection. So they made history, in a sense.
Not the way you want to do it, I guess.
I thought you're supposed to use your own. I thought they use your own blood. But I guess I was wrong.
There's more information here that'll clear things up.
Okay.
I believe. This here is, they're calling this a grim warning about the dangers dealing with unlicensed and ill-equipped practitioners. And we've certainly told stories similar to this. Oh, you want a bigger ass, and you go see some hack whose office is in a motel, and they shoot your ass cheeks full of lighter fluid or something, and your ass falls off. You know, we've heard these amateurs are just mangling people from one end of town to the other.
Yeah, people are dying from the Brazilian butt lift from a mother-daughter combo that does it in the back of a van somewhere.
What about the kid who put 5W30 motor oil in his arms to make his biceps look bigger.
Yeah.
That's silicone or whatever.
Whatever it was.
And it's not like you look at it and go, oh, I could see why he'd do that. It looks pretty good. It looks ridiculous.
He wanted to have like Mike Tramp style biceps.
Yep.
And he was injecting his arms with it's just awful, horrible. You'd have to be insane to consider these things. But anyway, in this case, we're talking about the vampire facial, which, well, I'll tell you right now, in case you don't know, vampire facial is the term for what's medically known as a PRP facial, PRP being short for platelet-rich plasma, PRP.
I'm doing that.
You're doing what now?
For my hair.
What? You're doing a hair treatment?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
They draw my blood and then they shoot it back into my head.
When did this start?
God, what the hell is the matter with you?
I've been doing it for maybe 7 months.
Oh,
Well,
God.
how does it look? You always wear a hat. Is that why?
Yes.
It's not looking good?
It's helping a lot, but my hair has been just going lately.
Why are you so terrified of this hair loss thing?
Because I feel like I'm going to look absolutely terrible with a bald head.
Well, just, Wapple, it's okay, dude. Why are you going through this?
Listen, Wapple, I'm in the same boat. Neither one of us are going to be posing for the cover of GQ magazine.
Wait,
let it go.
Let it go, dude. It's not a big deal. Don't
I can't imagine that's inexpensive.
I got the
You
head.
got drugs to buy.
My head is the size of your mother's ass, and it's bald, and it's fine. You would think I should be the one worried about my bald appearance with the big fat cranium that I got. But I'm not, because it ain't no big deal. Let it go up.
And you had gorgeous hair. You have something to miss.
Oh, did I have beautiful Mike Tramp type hair.
Yeah.
Oh, I looked great. Anyway, we got to get up. I'm never going to get to the end of this story. The vampire facial was popularized, they say here, in the year 20, then 13, after Kim Kardashian posted a bloody selfie. She had blood all over her face.
Yeah, I remember that selfie.
Gross.
It's a long, drawn-out explanation as to how this gimmick works. More or less, they take some blood out of you. They do this and that with it, and then they stab the blood back into your face with some needles or something, and then you wake up and you're pretty. That's the theory, at least. And maybe with a legitimate practitioner, it works. But it didn't work at this spa in New Mexico, because some gals showed up there for the vampire facial routine and then later turned up with that HIV. It says here the spa's safety practices were horrifying. Horrifying. Here are some highlights as to what was going on at the blood spa. There was a rack of unlabeled tubes containing blood that were located on a kitchen counter. Unlabeled. We don't know who the hell's blood this belongs to. There were unlabeled tubes of blood stored in the kitchen refrigerator, along with ham sandwiches and bottles of Sunny D and whatnot. In the lunch fridge.
Yum.
Unwrapped syringes were found laying all over the place. New guy in the corner was puking his guts out. Needles and blood vials that had been reused. You can't do that. You can't be reusing needles. It's in this arm. It's in that arm. That's not the way you do it. The former spa owner, a lady called Maria de Lourdes Ramon de Ruiz. Whoa. She pled guilty back in 20+22 to 5 counts of practicing medicine without a license and is currently serving out a 3.5-year sentence. That is some scary, shady, disgusting stuff right there, Cubby.
I hope she at least feels awful. You know, I mean,
yeah, hopefully.
I'd imagine her intent wasn't to give someone a lifelong condition.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't sleep that well.
I always thought, like, if you're, you hear about somebody getting herpes from something stupid or, blood transfusion, something like this happens, I would much rather get like an HIV or something like that from a fun way, versus something like this. Not to make light of the situation, but if it happened to me, like a normal way,
Yes.
Anal with a prostitute, something like that. Something you can look back on and go, I'm glad I did that.
I've been thinking
Except for
about
the HIV.
That a lot lately. It's simply because of like starting or going to the gym so much. I realized like a lot of people don't always wipe off everything, and you're wearing really thin clothing. And I'm convinced that if I catch any sort of STD, it's gonna come from a gym mat or like a gym machine. And I'm terrified now. Now I like wipe off the equipment beforehand and afterwards because what a stupid way to get a disease like that.
Wait a minute. You can catch HIV from gym mats and
I think about how, there's some people, of course, that are in like spandex, and that's thinner than underwear almost. And people that are sitting on the mat, and then they don't clean it up, and then I do yoga on the mat, so my face is on the mat.
Oh.
I'm like, this cannot be good.
I don't know if that you can catch HIV.
Well, someone's got to let me know if it's possible to catch anything.
I find that to be difficult to believe.
I think you're setting up catching an STD from a gentleman, so your boyfriend's listening right now, and you can say you got it on a yoga mat. Because you can bring your own yoga mat.
By the way, a listener sent me a picture of this wacky kid who injected his arms with God knows what to make his biceps bigger. Do you remember this guy? He was all over the news a few years ago. A listener sent me the picture of this dude. I mean, my God, what have you done to yourself? And I have no idea how this kid turned out.
I thought he had some major complications.
I think he did too. I mean,
It doesn't look. I mean, it's not like it looks good.
Why did you do that? What's wrong with you? All right, we got to get going at one point or another.
Quick Google search and a lot of text messages where people say it's a total myth that you cannot get an STD.
That you cannot
get an STD from a workout mat or touching sweaty gym.
No, it's like back in the
Sweet.
80s when everyone said we could get it from toilet seats and
I
whatnot.
guess I could have just looked it up, but that's good to know. Thank you, Dana.
Real quick.
But it'd be kind of funny if you did.
Yeah, you found a way.
Yeah.
You make a medical journal. She's the only one that this has ever happened to.
Prom. Did prom happen in your neighborhood yet?
I don't know.
I went to dinner at White Bear Lake a couple weekends ago, and there's a bunch of tables of kids there for prom.
Okay, you can usually tell in your neighborhood when it's time for prom because you see all the limos going around town and a bunch of zit-faced young fellas are in line at the gas station buying up all the rubbers. Prom. I bet this young gal here never misses a Ghost concert or a fresh edition of the Twilight movie series. There's a video going round and round like they do. A high school gal showed up to prom in a casket.
This is awesome.
She got hauled over there in a hearse. It says here her casket was carried into the prom by 4 classmates. The moment the casket was open, she came out of there, and she was alive, and it terrified everyone. And she was wearing a red gown. That was her gimmick. Showed up the prom in a casket.
This is up on 93x.com.
She's a deep thinker, this one, Josh. She said that this gimmick was, quote, a way of symbolizing a rebirth into the next phase of her life.
Oh, she ruined it for that. It was super cool before she said that.
Did you say she ruined it?
Yep.
What did she say? What did she say?
So rebirth.
Is she a young person who made a simple thing sound much deeper than it really is?
What?
I don't want to wait for my life to be over.
Oh, man. Such a good song.
I don't want to wait. I can go even higher.
Yeah,
especially Nick's cover version.
To be over.
I'll never turn that song off, I'm saying.
Social media dorks. Social media dorks who must share their opinion or drop dead had mixed feelings about this young lady. Some praised the creativity and boldness of the entrance. Others questioned the appropriateness of using a casket, a symbol typically associated with death now.
Typically.
Okay?
Yeah.
Some questioned the appropriateness of using a casket at a celebration of youth and future possibilities. Who talks like that? Why do you talk like that? All of you.
Yeah, it's weird how people, I think, just really want to get worked up by stuff.
Good Lord.
Again, overthinking the situation right there.
Why do you care that a girl went to prom? I question that. We don't care if you question it. And neither does the girl who watches all the Twilight movies who came to the prom in a casket. God. I don't understand where we're going with this, but I got to move on. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I ain't dating you unless you got kids. You got to have one, maybe two, because women with kids have structure. They have discipline. Women that don't have kids, they never have snacks in the pantry. I like to get up 3, 4 in the morning and get a Capri Sun and steal some of the kids' snacks. And women that don't have kids don't never had no food, Unc. Do you know what Capri Sun tastes like at 3 in the morning after a session?
Nah, hopefully I'm sleeping at 3 a.m.
Now, you ain't hear me. Please tell me you've had a honey bun in the microwave, warm it up for 12 seconds, nice and hot with a Capri Sun.
No,
a zebra cake.
Chad Johnson. He and, don't tell me, Shannon Sharp?
Shannon Sharp.
They have a radio show?
Podcast.
What the hell's a podcast? I love Chad Johnson's takes on damn near everything.
Me too.
He's very funny.
Guy. And he seems to be, he treats his fans well.
I think he and I, that doesn't make sense. I think you and I and Chad Johnson and Shannon Sharp have a lot in common as far as radio programs go, where you're like Chad Johnson, you got all kinds of fun things to say, and I'm like Shannon Sharp, where I ruin everything.
I don't think that's the case at all. No.
I appreciate that.
Quite the opposite. But, he brings up a good point. I ended up, and my stepson sent me that audio. I ended up dating a woman with kids and married into it, and she did have a lot of snacks. I never considered that. And the discipline, all that stuff that Chad Johnson said was there. He's right.
Chips,
got it.
Candy bars.
Not so much candy bars, but fruit snacks. Cheerios.
More chips.
Cheez-Its.
Juice boxes.
Pirate's booty.
That's awesome. Chad Johnson says you got to get with a woman who got some kids because they got all the great snacks. Hey, of course, earlier we were talking about 80s rock titans White Lion. And we talked about their lead singer, Mike Tramp. Ashley, being a young person, I guessed that she had never seen the man before, so I made her look up the video for the awful hit single from 1988 called When the Children Cry. She did, and she said, Mike Tramp is gorgeous.
Absolutely.
He's fine looking. I got a text from a listener that says, the hottest chick I've ever seen is the dude lead singer from Europe. You're talking about Joey Tempest. Joey Tempest, very attractive man.
The hottest chicks, siblings I've ever seen would be Matthew and Gunnar Nelson.
They were hot.
Oh, boy.
I'll tell you right now.
Hot stuff.
Back to Europe. Remember a few years ago, Josh, when we sat together and listened to the live version of Carrie?
Yeah.
And this was from only 5-6 years ago. Joey Tempest can still sing.
I just listened to that not too long ago.
And with the crowd singing back, it was very emotional for the both of us. It was very emotional.
Great tune. Great band.
We're going to talk about the basketball and the hockey later. We'll get into that with Randy Shaver. I got to tell you, it hit me last night. I'm really starting to miss watching the Twins on television. I love watching the Twins every damn night, and I can't right now, and I miss it badly. They got a win last night. We'll tell you about that. We got to take a break. Josh's news is coming up.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our technicians are geared up and ready to make sure your system is running reliably this summer. Regular maintenance from Standard Heating helps prevent costlier breakdowns in the future, and we know they always happen at the worst times.
Summer's coming, but don't sweat it. Stay cool with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Beat the heat now and ensure comfort all summer long. Their expert technicians are ready to ensure your AC is in top shape. Call and schedule a tune-up today at 612-824-2656 or online at standardheating.com.
John brings his skewed sense of humor. Jeff brings tips to cut strokes off your next round. Together, It's those weekend golf guys.
They'll pay a lot of money to PXG and Titleist and Callaway and on and on and on, right? How many yards do you think you're going to pick up with that extra driver? I think I can get an extra 5 to 10. What if I give you 15 to 20? You pay me more.
Jeff Smith teaches on a sliding scale.
Those Weekend Golf Guys, the podcast, part of the Believe Network. Just search BLEAV on YouTube or wherever you listen.
He just shows up in the truck, he parks, he gets out, and he just starts yelling and screaming. Basically said, he's been waiting to beat my
I don't know. It just seemed like he snapped.
He came out, long machete, walking like the Joker towards me. I'm scared shitless. That's probably the craziest thing I've experienced.
A maintenance man was led away from a pickleball court in handcuffs after deputies say he threatened players while wielding a machete. Saturday, May 4th, at the Pelican Marsh Community Center in Florida, 4 men were playing late-night pickleball when they were approached by 53-year-old Joseph Duvally, a maintenance worker there. Each of the victims told deputies similar stories. They said the man yelled at them to leave while kicking tables and pushing chairs over. The report goes on to claim that he left to go to his car, returned with a machete, and told the victims he would beat their asses, which is allegedly when they cleared the court and contacted law enforcement.
All of a sudden, I heard the squealing of tires, and this person who had threatened to kill him with a machete came roaring into the parking lot. Then he jumps out of his truck. So scary. I don't know what he would have had in his pocket. He came right over to my son and threatened him.
Duvally told responding deputies he was actually the one who was threatened. He said the men told him to make them leave. Prompting him to grab the machete and defend himself. Being the, quote, macho man that he is, he couldn't let it go, he said. Deputies said Duvally smelled strongly of alcohol. He was arrested and faces 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
This pickleball's starting to get a little serious.
Oh, I've heard stories. I know someone who works at a place that have pickleball, and apparently there's a lot of older folks that just really go at it. Can't stand each other.
That'd be fun to watch.
Not that this makes any real difference. I'm just curious. How late is late-night pickleball?
You know, the story didn't say.
Didn't say?
But I guess they were skating right up to closing time, and he must have wanted to get out of there and finish his cerveza or whatever he had going on there. But I liked how he said, hey, you know, I'm a macho man.
Right. I'm an alpha.
Yeah. I can't walk away. I'm just going to go be the only guy that brings a weapon as a tough guy like I am.
Alphas don't walk away, Josh.
No, they leave the situation where clearly they could just keep on going,
right,
but then they come back. A Renville County man is facing serious charges and possible prison time after allegedly threatening to shoot up a business in Wilmer last week. According to a news release, a 911 caller reported there was a male party at the business who was unhappy and had threatened to shoot the place up. The caller also told police the same person had been at the business a few days earlier and threatened to return with a firearm. Employees were evacuated as police responded. Officers confronted the suspect, who was compliant and was quickly taken into custody. He's 72. He was found to be unarmed. He faces $10,000 in fines and up to 5 years in prison.
I wonder what his problem is. Wilmer, I've been there.
Been driven through it, I believe.
I've been there, and I was not impressed.
You didn't like it?
Darn.
Step your game up, Wilmer.
Yeah, I wonder what he was so mad about. Didn't quite say what service he was unhappy with. But 72, you know, just chill out, man. Enjoy retirement. A woman showed up at a police station with 2 grenades.
A woman came into the police department with 2 grenades. She was cleaning out our house from one of our family members. She came across with 2 grenades and decided to come to the police department to dispose of the grenades.
On Thursday, the woman arrived at the department with a pair of inert grenades that still had the pins attached.
When the officers identified the grenades with the pins still attached, they realized that they possibly can have 2 live grenades here. They left the grenades in the vehicle. We called the sheriff's office for their bomb unit to come out here.
The police chief said although the woman left the grenades in her car, they evacuated the non-essential employees from the station and parking lot to be on the safe side.
One of the things that we definitely want to stress for anybody in our community, if you see things in your house that are possibly grenades, don't bring them to the police department. Just leave them home, call 911, and we'll come out to you guys.
Police say the woman got a hold of the grenades after her father recently passed.
You know, I've learned, Josh, that there are way more, how do I say it? They're just way more, I'm trying to think of a word, like unfired grenades. What's the word you use? Inert?
Inert, yeah.
What does inert mean?
Like it's not an explosive.
Yeah. Not active. There are way more of those hanging around in folks' dresser drawers and whatnot than I ever imagined.
Yeah, it seems like when these stories come up, we'll get texts from people saying, hey, I've got one. I picked one up here or there.
Why do you have
I'd prefer a real one, personally.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Instead of truck nuts, I want real grenades on the back of my vehicle.
Way more of these laying around than I ever imagined.
A captain in New York City's Department of Corrections suffered burns and smoke inhalation when her body camera caught fire. You're not expecting something like that. The department decided to stop using the equipment pending an investigation. The captain was on duty at Rikers Island, this is last Friday, when her body-worn camera ignited without warning.
Well, that's effed up.
Yeah. The safety of our staff is paramount, which is why I'm removing all body-worn cameras from service out of an abundance of caution while we investigate how and why this incident occurred, the commissioner said in a statement. Officials said this is the first time a body camera has caught fire since they started using them in 2015. I had no idea something like that could happen.
That's kind of scary.
A Wisconsin couple, separated by nearly 40 years in age, faced disorderly conduct charges for having sex at the Waukesha County Jail.
This is going to be hot, isn't it?
It's not.
What are you talking about?
It's not. A sheriff's deputy was dispatched last week on a report of 2 individuals having sex in the jail lobby.
That sounds pretty hot.
At least he didn't have to go far.
The amorous and unattractive couple
what the hell?
were made up of a 28-year-old man and a 67-year-old woman.
Whoa.
Caught in the throes of passion on surveillance video about 3 a.m. Thursday.
That's gross.
The deputy contacted 67-year-old Karen Hill, who indicated 28-year-old Desmond Cleveland was her boyfriend.
Dude.
They just were going to hang out at a boarding house, but then they got locked out, they said, so they decided to walk to the jail lobby and take a nap.
Let's get it on.
They did take a nap, but when they woke up, they did it. Hill indicated she tried to cover both of them up with articles of clothing so no one would see, and when the deputy questioned Cleveland about what happened, he stated, sex happens. He also said, yeah, I knew there were cameras. He knew.
I don't know.
You're not telling me anything I don't know.
I still kind of like these two. I like the idea of the 26-year-old turning to his 67-year-old girlfriend and saying, I want you so bad right now. You know what I mean?
Adding insult to injury and perhaps inspiration for a sequel to 1997's movie The Edge, about a killer bear.
Oh my God, what about The Edge?
A driver killed in a horrific car crash was pulled from the wreckage by a bear who dragged his dead body into the woods. Oh my goodness.
Gonna eat him to death.
The 31-year-old lost control of his vehicle in Massachusetts Sunday morning, striking a guardrail multiple times and then hurtling off the road and down an embankment. The driver was thought to have been killed in the accident, which may have been good for him in a way. He was either fully or partially ejected from his SUV. When first responders reached the scene, the deceased male occupant of the vehicle was outside the car with a bear hovering over him. So he might have lucked out that he was killed by the car crash, then the bear.
Oh, so he was dead already.
Yeah, they believe he was dead. I mean, they haven't said for sure, but they're pretty sure he was. Evidence suggested the bear at some point had made contact with the victim's body. The bear left the area while troopers were at the scene. Officials could only say it was assumed the man was killed by that initial crash and didn't have to face a bloodthirsty bear.
Damn. How about that?
Insult to injury. Oh, man. You imagine if he made it? Oh, thank God. What a crash that was. I could have died. Suddenly the bear rushes out and gets him.
Oh, my gosh. That'd be awful.
A pedestrian was nearly struck by an out-of-control car in Minneapolis Tuesday night, and it was caught on video. You can see this on 93x.com. A traffic camera captured a collision about 10 p.m. at the intersection of University Avenue Southeast and 10th Street Southeast near the U of M campus. Video shows a car traveling through a red light before it's T-boned by another vehicle. The car that ran the red light then drove up a tree and rolled, narrowly hitting the pedestrian on the sidewalk. It was a close one.
And then a bear?
No, it didn't say anything about a bear.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe Goldie Gopher. This guy, if he was just a tiny bit faster in his stride, he'd be dead. Mm-hmm. Both drivers were men in their 20s. One of the drivers was transported to Hennepin Health Care for unspecified injuries. The other was taken. The other and the pedestrian weren't hurt. Police are still investigating.
I drive right through the intersection every day.
Yep, it's right here. Heads up if you're buying gift cards anytime soon. The Inver Grove Heights Police Department is warning of a new gift card scam.
But you just handed me a gift card.
Yeah, what are you trying to pull here, Josh?
Yeah.
Josh?
That is from the folks at Devani's. We got it from the source, which they recommend, by the way. As you will hear, police recommend you get it from the source.
Okay.
Sorry, Josh.
They say, no, apologize to Devani's. Say it.
So I apologize, Devani's. I love you. You know that.
It's difficult to detect this scam, police say. They arrested 2 people Friday after they were caught putting gift cards onto the shores. They don't have shores at Cub Foods, but they do have shelves. They have shelves there. There's no swim-up deli bar that I'm aware of.
I wish. That'd be awesome.
Swim up, get your cold cuts.
The gift cards were scams meant to steal money once activated.
Oh, so they put them on the shelves at Cub, and people think Cub's selling them.
Yeah, what a couple of jerks here.
F me.
They were caught with nearly 100 pounds of gift cards, thousands of them, police said.
It's a really, really big deal. This is hundreds, if not thousands, of victims that won't be victims.
Police say thieves get the cards in bulk. They remove the scratch-off section, copy the number underneath, and then scratch off some numbers so the card won't work, and add their own sticker.
They take a new sticker and put it on. With this one, the only way to tell that something is amiss is if you run your finger across it. There's a little bit of grit under this one that wouldn't be from the factory, and this one is completely smooth.
It's a big concern with graduation season in full swing, and according to the Better Business Bureau, these types of scams are becoming more common, especially this time of year. So police recommend you get them straight from the source, or perhaps send an email with a gift card.
What a friggin' drag.
I know.
To have to deal with something like that.
A 9-year-old Louisiana boy was treated to a shopping spree after donating his only dollar to a man he thought was homeless. Without thinking, Kelvin Ellis Jr. made the generous offering last month after spotting a disheveled-looking man standing outside a Baton Rouge coffee shop. But the man wasn't homeless after all. Apparently, it was a local sporting goods store owner named Matt who is a multi-millionaire. Just didn't look like one that day.
It's crazy.
Matt, who built and sold several outdoor companies worth hundreds of millions of dollars, found himself standing outside that morning in mismatched clothes after he was forced outside of his condo complex by a blaring fire alarm. The 42-year-old decided to go for a cup of coffee while he waited.
Threw on some short little hunting boots and shorts and whatever I had handy. So I was like, oh, coast is clear. Time to go get my coffee. I might as well start my day.
And that's when Kelvin approached, offered his single dollar bill, a dollar that he had just earned days earlier for receiving good grades.
I said, excuse me, sir, are you homeless? Because if you are, here's $1.
Even though it was the only money he had to his name, Kelvin was eager to pass it on to someone he thought needed it more. And Matt was so touched, he invited Kelvin for a snack and connected with the boy's father before ultimately inviting the kind-hearted child to a shopping spree at one of his stores.
Is this your first millionaire that you've met? First millionaire. If you're my first millionaire I met, you can lend me a couple bucks, right? Right?
I think I can lend you more than a couple bucks. I even brought you a little gift today.
Kelvin had 40 seconds to pick out whatever he wanted, including a new bike. His compassion has inspired Matt, who said the boy restored his faith in humanity.
His faith in humanity?
Can you imagine, oh no, I look homeless? What a good kid.
Man, I want to bump into a millionaire and do something cute for him.
To get a free bike?
Does that happen?
Yeah, I'm going to rake him over the coals for more than just a free bicycle.
If you thought your gym was expensive, luxury fitness company Equinox is launching a new membership which costs more than a lot of people make in a year. The Optimized by Equinox personalized health program costs $3,000 a month. Jeez. The price of a basic gym membership, again, this is basic, going to at least $40,000 a year. Equinox says it's partnering with Function Health, a lab test startup with the mission of helping people live 100 healthy years, quote unquote.
100?
Equinox says the program will be rolled out later this month in New York City and Highland Park, Texas, with other U.S. locations to follow. $3,000 a month.
That's insane.
For a gym membership.
I pay $20.
And you can get it less than that. I mean,
yeah.
A rare and stinky opportunity has arisen for local nature lovers. A corpse flower is about to bloom at Como Park Conservatory.
I just walked by and I was very intrigued.
Well, I think it's awesome how big it is. I thought it sounded kind of spooky.
The dead, right? That's what I thought. A flower from the dead.
The bloom, native to Indonesia, will smell strongly of rotting flesh. But like Ashley's first marriage, the pungent scent will only last a few days.
I don't like smelling things. But yes, I would. I'm a very curious person, so I'd be back.
Morbid curiosity. I know I'll hate it. I want to know.
It's an experience, right?
Yeah.
The smelling is a part of the experience, so I think it'd be cool to come back.
Como Park staff said on their website it's the first time the plant, named Horace, after landscape architect Horace Cleveland, will bloom since arriving at the conservatory in 2019. There are fewer than 1,000 corpse flowers in the world, and these plants can reach up to 15 feet tall.
I'm a biologist. I think it's really cool how it smells like rotting meat to us, but that's what helps it attract insects, so then they'll want to go and feed, and then they help pollinate it.
I think it's always fascinating to learn about why things do the things they do.
The plant is visible in the exhibit gallery from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., but if you're squeamish about the stink, you can watch the bloom on Como Park's live stream, which we've posted a link to on 93x.com.
And shout out to the Como Zoo and whoever runs their Twitter account. They're apparently big fans of their show because anytime we bring them up, they hit us up on Twitter and mention us. So.
Those guys are awesome.
Mm-hmm. They are.
Yeah, I love that. I love that area. So, and I've always said I wanted to smell one of these things, so I got to go check it out.
I got a party with these flower enthusiasts, man.
Oh, dude.
I'm telling you.
Wapo, you're a flower enthusiast, aren't you?
Yeah, different kind, though.
Yeah, you're into that. Co-creator of The Simpsons, James L. Brooks, 84 today. Happy birthday to Dave from Circle Pines from I Am David's Son, Jesus. I wish I had a son that loved me that much. Happy birthday to Miles. And it's not too often people speak highly of a program director at a radio station. So why start now? We're not going to compliment him, but we would like to wish a happy birthday to the head honcho and legendary woodsman here at 93X, Derek. Happy birthday, boss. And that's 93X News.
Coming up next, we'll talk with Carol Evans, Randy Shaver.
Carol Evans, Randy Shaver.
Big time onions. Goodness.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
What the is happening? Holy the Denver Chicken Nuggets are getting off their own floor. The Timberwolves are the organic super team warriors. The Wolves are making up for the 20 years of pure ass they have put out on hardwood. This team is not to be truffled with. And now Jokic is going back to Serbia. MPJ shot 1 of 7 from 3, and his 3 brothers are relying on him for bail. Jamal Murray is the winner of the Ground Beef Award for playing like utter pubic hair today.
Oh, I'll tell you right now, I should have gone to the bathroom.
Uh-oh. Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes you miss an opportunity.
Oh, by Christ, I should have gone to the... Hello, Randy Shaver.
Well, we've got time. Go ahead.
You know, when you reach a certain age, that's really bad to hold it in.
Oh.
Josh?
When you reach a certain age, you know where the bathrooms are.
Yeah, it's like somebody who's been in the military or a law enforcement officer.
Yep.
They know where the exits are. You know, they've scouted that out.
Josh, may I go to the bathroom?
You know where the bathrooms are.
Yes, you may go to the bathroom.
Thank you.
I almost cried
I feel
laughing
much better.
the first time I saw that.
Dirty, filthy, rotten,
Dirty,
rich.
rotten scoundrels.
Dirty, rotten scoundrel.
Has everybody seen that movie?
Not in a long time.
I don't know if it holds up or not, but was that funny.
One of the greatest scenes ever. Michael Caine and Steve Martin are scam artists who prey on rich women in a funny way. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
They scam themselves to live off of rich women. And there's a scene where Steve Martin portrays this crazy, out-of-his-mind character. And at one point, they're having dinner, and the Steve Martin character asks Michael Caine, "Can I go to the bathroom?" And Michael Caine says, "Yes, Ruprecht, you may." Steve Martin's character is named Ruprecht. And there's a long bit of silence, and Martin makes kind of a straining face. And then he says, "Thank you." Absolute genius
That's
stuff.
exactly how we said thank you, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hanging on to a number 1 like my name was Billy Gunn. Like my name was Olivia Munn. I think I can make it. I admitted something earlier, Randy Shaver, to everyone else here on the program. I admitted to them that I am really missing watching the Twins on television. It kind of hit me last night. It's just something I dedicate every night to, damn near, from April until the season is over. And I can't do it right now, and I miss it badly. Especially when
you're not alone.
No. Well, I know I'm not alone. Especially when I miss out on dongs. I love dongs.
Oh, yeah.
And the Twins hit 3 of them last night, and they beat the Seattle Mariners by a final of 6-3.
Well, you also missed a really strong pitching performance from Chris Paddock, who's actually kind of turning into the ace of this rotation right now. He had 10 strikeouts again last night. He's been really good.
4 wins in a row for Chris Paddock? I think I have that accurate, yeah. 10 strikeouts? Yeah, the guy looks great. And a year or so ago, the guy's arm was deep-fried garbage.
Well, I think there was concern that he may not pitch again.
Right.
For the Twins. It may not get the opportunity to do what he's doing, but he's come back from that injury stronger than ever, and boy, the Twins need him too. So it's been a real blessing for them to have a guy like this to be able to, fill in that rotation with the loss of Sonny Gray, and it's nice to see Paddock step up. And Duran had a nice inning last night. Again, the bullpen a little shaky last night with Thielbar and Jax, but
sure.
Duran shut the door, and that was it. So
let me tell you about
game against the Mariners.
Yeah, it's a day game, and it's going to be Pablo Lopez versus somebody by the name of Logan Gilbert. Let me tell you about the dongs now. Carlos Correa, Trevor Larnach hung back-to-back dongage in the first inning. Willie Castro went deep with his own. The following inning, Willie also ripped an RBI triple in the fourth, and the rally sausage was at the game.
Looking gross.
Oh.
Castro was handling it in the dugout, and what I read was that after Willie partied in the dugout with the rally sausage, he kept smelling his batting gloves on his hands, either because he loves the smell of rotting meat or because the rally sausage gives off a funk now and then. It was maybe it was bothering him a little bit, but the rally sausage was there, so I guess we should rest easy and now know that it ain't going anywhere.
Can you imagine if the rally sausage was a thing when Carlos Gomez was playing for the Twins?
Well, he liked to smell things
all the time. He liked to smell his bat.
Yes.
When he walked up to the plate.
Yes, he did.
Even during the at-bat, he would smell his bat.
Why?
Superstition.
Just one of those things.
All right.
He smelled his bat.
Baseball players can be kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah, I've come to learn that.
If I remember, somebody asked Carlos Gomez, and he just said, "I'm smelling to find out if there's any hits in there."
Hits in the bat. That's correct.
In the bat. You're right, Randy Shaver. Day game today over there at Target Field.
Pablo Day.
Pablo Lopez.
It's Pablo Day.
Now, Randy, will you be participating in any of this? The University of Minnesota baseball program will retire the jersey number worn by head coach John Anderson. This is coming up on Saturday over there at Siebert Field. The Golden Gophers host Michigan State. It's John Anderson's final home series. And they're going to retire his number 14 forever.
Okay.
Well, I thought maybe...
Kind of sad.
Oh, you're saddened by this. I was wondering why you're being so quiet.
Well, I'm just very sad. I mean, John Anderson he's just a legend at University of Minnesota. And all of the things he's done and the program that he's built. And, everything all comes to an end at some point. I get that. And I'm sure that John is looking forward to retirement and being able to enjoy some things that maybe he didn't get a chance to do because of his duties as a head coach. But
working his ass off for 49 years.
Yeah. The man's done an amazing job. So,
winningest coach in the history of the Big Ten. Won all kinds of titles and this and that. All kinds of great players have played for the man. 115 Golden Gophers under John Anderson have been drafted into the big leagues.
That's crazy.
36 of his 43 seasons winning records. You got guys like Dave Winfield and Paul Molitor, and I don't know why in this article they didn't mention.
Well, they were prior to Anderson.
I'm sorry. Yeah, these are the names that are.
Yeah.
These are the names and numbers that are already retired. Anderson will be joining Dave Winfield and Paul Molitor. I don't know why Glenn Perkins wasn't mentioned in the article. But at any rate, John Anderson, one of the all-time greats. They're going to have a big party for him on Saturday. Big party.
One more baseball note.
Yes.
Last night marked 40 years since the debut of Kirby Puckett.
Oh.
Yesterday
dude.
marked 40 years. Puckett hit .393 in his first 20 games, .343 in his first 40 games, and his rookie season, which is something I kind of forgot about. In his rookie season, he had 25 bunt hits.
Wow. Yeah, Turkey Bucket could run when he was young.
And think about that, because that's on the Metrodome turf, which was obviously brutal. But yeah, 40 years last night, the debut of Kirby Puckett for the Twins.
Do you have any other specifics about that first start for Kirby? Was it a day game? Do you know this?
I don't recall.
Okay. Because I want to say...
I don't have anything for him.
Understood. I want to say that I attended the very first game that he started at the old Metrodome. It was a field trip for my, I want to say fifth
school?
Yes. I want to say it was
oh my God.
5th grade. And I remember this very vividly because every year our grade school would do a trip to the old Metrodome and watch a Twins day game at the end of the school year and obviously at the beginning of the baseball season. And I remember our 5th grade teacher, and we were all pumped. You know, we knew all we had to do that day was show up at class. We'll hang around for a little while, then we'll take a bus down to Minneapolis and we'll watch the Twins day game. So it was an F-off day. And I remember my 5th grade teacher walking into class and saying, you know, today's the day we're going down to see the Twins. And he said, do you kids know the name of today's starting center fielder? And we all said, I don't know. We took some guesses, those of us who followed the Twins. Jim Eisenreich, I don't know. Billy Bean, we took some guesses. Right. And the teacher said, no. And he said, the name of the starting center fielder for the Twins today is named Kirby Puckett. And we all laughed because we were little kids. We're little kids, and that's a funny sounding name. So I want to say that I was there for his very first.
His MLB debut
so
was
cool.
May 8th, 1984 against the Angels at home. He was 4 of 5.
Was it a day game?
I'm
4 for 5.
Yeah, 4 for 5.
You should be able to find out the start time of the game and things like that.
Yeah, I'm looking up on Baseball Reference.
Yeah, they usually dump.
They got a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, there you go. 40 years ago today, yesterday.
What was the starting lineup that day?
I have it where they wear away.
Okay. Well, then it was his first home start. I believe it was his first home start. Yeah, we're talking about a home game here. Dana, what the game you have in front of you?
Starting lineup
who was the starting lineup?
For the Twins, Curry, Puckett, bat lead off, Tim Tuffle.
Sure. Number 11. I'll give you their jersey numbers. 11 for Tim Tuffle.
Tom Bernansky.
24.
Randy Bush.
25.
Gary Gaetti.
8.
Mickey Hatcher.
9.
Mike Hart.
I don't remember.
Tim Laudner.
15.
Mike Hart.
Houston Jimenez.
55.
And then Sweet Music.
16. Mike Hart. I don't remember him. Did he...
Looks like he had an offer that day.
It was he and Jim the Anvil Neidhart would...
He actually left after this game to join the Hart Foundation. This was his last game as a Twin.
Then he joined the... Where was Herbeck, Randy wants to know?
Where was Herbeck that day?
Who started at first base?
Started at first base was Mickey Hatcher.
Oh. All right. There you go. That's great. I'm glad you brought that up. Pardon me, Randy?
Fun.
Yeah,
I said Hatcher was a character.
Yeah, he was. I have more baseball here in front of me. You know who's still out there looking for a big league team to sign him up? Old Dick Mountain.
Jeez. How old is he now?
44-year-old Rich Hill, otherwise known as Dick Mountain.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I don't either because...
Well, he's saying he's turning down teams.
Yeah. He says, and...
He's turning teams down?
He says he's turned down 3 offers because he wants to coach his son's Little League team, a 12-year-old kid. But he also says, yeah, I'd come back and play as long as a team truncates my schedule so I can still coach Little League Baseball.
That's not going to happen.
That's good.
There's been a lot of demands made for contracts. I think that might be a first.
We hear stories around here of stuff like that. Just some ridiculous ask for contracts.
Oh, we do.
There's some real good ones.
Dude.
This is especially good, though.
One of the last stories I heard about some contract demands that were made around here were friggin' hilarious. Who do you think you are?
Especially when the boss looked at it for 2 seconds and went, yeah, we're not doing any of this.
Right.
Do you have any
Well, don't you want to look it over for a few minutes? Right?
Is there anybody else you want to run it by? No, we're good.
We shouldn't give any examples.
Ah, darn.
No, we shouldn't.
Yeah, it'd be a bad idea.
Ah, man, Dick Mountain.
He's sitting right next to you, after all. Really awkward.
The Oakland Athletics, it says here, this is a silly headline. What the hell do you expect? The Oakland Athletics are officially drawing in fewer fans than minor league hockey and pro women's volleyball. Yeah, what do you expect? Their team's being ripped out from under the fans' asses. It's too damn depressing to show up at a ball game.
But they're actually playing decent baseball, which is, to me, it's one of the better stories in baseball through the first 40 games of the season. They're 3 games under 500, and they've been very competitive.
Could you imagine if a playoff game was played in that stadium? That'd be awesome.
Oh, no. I don't think they're not going to survive that long to be able to be in the hunt for a postseason. But just the fact that they're competitive right now, I think, is pretty interesting to watch.
Well, good for them. I'm glad the Athletics are doing well. Yeah. But, I mean, it's too...
That's good for the league.
Yeah. And, I mean, okay, why are we poking fun at their fans for not showing up? It's horrible what's happening out there. Horrible.
And by the way, just one other baseball note. I mean,
you said that twice really now. We can't trust you anymore.
Okay, here's my last one.
Okay.
We really piled on the White Sox terribly.
Well,
and
you
much
did.
Deserved over the first. Well, we all talked about them.
Go ahead.
They're not the worst team in baseball right now.
Is it Colorado?
Believe it or not, Colorado. They are now 8-28.
Oh.
They are the worst team in baseball. I mean, they're just a little bit ahead of the White Sox in that department, but that's 2 really bad teams right now that I suppose are in the running for possibly losing 130, 140 games.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's kind of funny,
I should
though.
say 130 games, but 120
So
maybe.
Chicago has one more win than Colorado.
Yeah.
Last night, they just beat Tampa Bay again.
Chicago did.
Yeah.
They've got Tampa's number.
Yeah, they are just crushing the Rays.
Shy Jesus has texted into the program back to Randy, bringing up yesterday being the 40th anniversary of Kirby Puckett's first start for the Minnesota Twins. Shy Jesus, and I believe this is accurate, he said, I heard the story that when Kirby got called up, which was an away game, he took a taxi from the airport but didn't have money to pay and had to go inside and ask someone to pay for his cab.
He borrowed $83 according to the story.
Yes, I remember that story. Turkey bucket. This is a tired-ass story. Do you care to get into the latest in the show high thing with his translator? And I don't. Do you?
Not really.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, the guy's going to go to jail. That's all you need to know.
So Nikola Jokic has claimed his third MVP in 4 seasons, and it probably should have been 4 in a row. Probably should have been 4 in a row. There was no effing reason to give Joel Embiid did not have a better season. Man, this isn't just because I hate Joel Embiid and his boring-ass game. Nikola Jokic had a better season than Embiid did last year, but they gave it to Embiid. At any rate, Nikola Jokic, 3 MVPs in 4 seasons. And the guy's awesome. I want to see him fail horribly, obviously, from now until the end of time, but the guy's awesome. Although Shaquille O'Neal says, and I think Randy Shaver, you like to swing from this guy's jock. Shaquille O'Neal says that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should have been the MVP.
I don't like to rain on people's parade, but I'm not happy with this one. Congratulations to Joker. You are the best big man in the league. But based on everybody's criteria, my criteria, stat stuffer, you guys' criteria, number one seed, which team has a better record, I felt Shea Alexander deserved it. I know this is going to be hurtful for him. Hopefully he uses this to motivate him to win a championship.
I am the most monotone man in all of America. I don't think it's hurtful.
I don't either. I mean, certainly he does. He got great consideration. He finished second in the voting. I still think Jokic deserved it. But Shea Gillis is just one of those. I mean, between him and Anthony Edwards, we're going to see those two names, and Luka Doncic for that matter. Those three names at top of this list for the next 5 to 10 years, because those three players are just fabulous young players, and the face of the league, right? You know.
The New York Knickerbockers are up 2-0 in their best-of-7 conference semifinal series with the Indiana Pacers. The Knicks won last night by 9 points. This has been a lot of fun to watch. The Pacers are very good. They just haven't finished games off.
Well, if you ask the Pacers, they're not getting any calls. Did you see the story this morning?
I did not.
They have submitted 78 plays to the NBA in which they felt calls were incorrectly done against them.
Really?
In the first 2 games of this series.
Who's the intern that's got to go through all those emails?
Would it be easier just to send them the full game tape? Just like, here you go, take a look at all of it.
Much, yeah.
78.
78 plays, and Rick Carlisle basically said, look, just give us a fair shot. We're not getting a fair shot.
Well.
Yeah. And under the rules of this, they will give, those plays will also be given to the Knicks so that they can see them as well.
Okay.
But the league office will review it and decide. I don't know what they can decide. They can't change the outcome of the game. The game is the game. But I just find that funny that, you know, if every team sat down and put a tape together night after night of the missed calls in the NBA, that office would be absolutely swamped trying to decipher, you know, which calls were correct and which ones were not. And some of them are so subjective that you really can't decide that just looking at the video.
I've been watching this series, but I guess I haven't watched that closely. I didn't realize that.
It's been very super physical.
Okay, good. I like that in a basketball game. And you guys know me. I cannot stand the officiating in the NBA. I think it's horrible. But I haven't watched closely enough to notice that big of a disparity. Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks is just terrific. And along with that, Dante.
He's a player, man.
Oh, yeah. Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. They got a great thing. I don't know what Josh Hart was thinking last night. And I watched this live as it happened. Late in the game, it's obvious that the New York Knicks are going to beat the Indiana Pacers. Calling the game on the sideline is Reggie Miller. And, of course, New York fans still remember that Reggie Miller murdered them. Really, honestly, left them for dead in the 90s, which was so much fun to watch. So if I have this correct, the crowd starts chanting, F you, Reggie. It's great. But I don't know why Josh Hart, does he not understand television? He walks over to Reggie Miller and Kevin Harlan, whoever is calling the game. He walks over, Reggie's got a mic on his face. They're in the middle of shooting free throws, so this Hart knows they're not in commercial or anything like that. And he walks up to Reggie and says, hey, they're saying F you to you. And he dumps the F-bomb on live. What the hell? What are you, stupid or something?
I think that's F you.
Uh-oh. And Reggie Miller looks at him like, dude, what are you doing?
I will be surprised if I don't hear Reggie sucks. I'll be a little hurt if I don't hear Reggie sucks. I get it, New Yorkers. The way they took over Philadelphia and how they acted, I get it. Just know the boogeyman is coming back to town to call the game.
He predicted it.
Reggie Miller is awesome.
Oh, I love him.
At what he does.
He is awesome.
He's so funny.
He and Harlan together are so good.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I know we brought it up a couple days ago, but if you're a young person and you don't know what Reggie Miller did to the New York Knicks, that 3 3-pointers in 9 seconds, whatever it was, look it up on YouTube. I'll tell you this much. It was one of those moments as a sports fan that I'll remember until the day that I die. I hated the New York Knicks. Oh, God, I hated them. And I loved Reggie Miller and Rick Smits and some of the other characters. But anyway, it was one of those moments where I couldn't help myself. I physically shot out of my chair when watching that happen because it was so effing beautiful.
Do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I was at where I grew up. I was at my folks' house.
Oh, okay.
I was at my folks' house, and I physically shot out of my chair because I could not believe what I was seeing.
The next morning at the bus stop, and for the next probably the rest of the school year, maybe the next year and a half, we would spend on the driveway. The bus stop that kid's house was at had a basketball hoop, and we would recreate that over and over again. Okay, my turn. I'm going to do it. No, it was kind of like this. Remember, he stole it and then step back and then hit that one, and we would just do it over and over and over again.
We did that with Kevin Lynch. Kevin Lynch missed the three-point shot in, I'm going to say, the 1990 Elite Eight NCAA basketball tournament, Randy Shaver, against Georgia Tech. You remember. Kevin Lynch had a three-point shot. Kevin Lynch had a three-point shot as the time expired that if it had gone in, the Golden Gophers would have went to the Final Four. He missed. The next day at school, everyone's in the gym trying to make that Kevin Lynch three-pointer.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's kind of like the Blake Hoffarber from the butt shot.
Right.
As soon as you saw Blake Hoffarber make the butt shot, everybody in the world tried to do the butt shot.
So funny story. That happened to Eastview. I was a freshman in college at the time, but I had buddies that were on the team, and I'm still friends with them. And anytime there's a shot like that in college or something that goes viral, that gets shown again, and my buddies will just be like, okay, can we get over it already?
They don't want to bring that up?
No, they're like, why does it have to keep coming up? I had to live through it.
I remember where I was when the butt shot happened, too. Oh, man. What else are we talking about here? I think we've had enough of this bit, too, but just in case you're interested, the infamous exchange between Patrick Beverley and Indiana Pacers fans last week is now the subject of a police investigation. It says here, Lieutenant Frank Drebin is on the case.
I think it's more just why he threw the ball at the fan. I think that's what they're investigating the most is the actual physical part of that altercation.
I'll tell you what, Mrs. Nordberg, not one man on this police force is going to rest until we find out who did this to your husband. Now let's go get a bite to eat. One of the greatest lines from The Naked Gun. All right, here's a big argument going around. Austin Rivers, former member of the Timberwolves. Played in the pros for a good stretch of time. Austin Rivers said, I can take 30 players right now in the NBA and put them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA.
We got Anthony Edwards coming over.
Jimmy Butler.
Russ. Oh, you guys are drunk early in the morning.
Russell Westbrook.
No way.
Russell Westbrook.
Zion at left tackle.
Zion would be fantastic.
Yeah. Draymond at D-end, maybe just clubbing people.
I agree with it. If these NBA players are going to play wide receiver, tight end, absolutely.
Yeah.
NBA.
Sure,
I think a lot of NBA players could be wide receivers, tight ends, and defense. Maybe not defensive backs. That's a little more work. I absolutely wide receivers and tight ends. NFL players playing in the NBA. I don't know. That doesn't sound as reasonable to me. No one else has any thoughts on the subject?
Few, I mean,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like Kyle Rudolph, wasn't he somebody that was an example? He could have went pro.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't think he could have been a pro basketball
That's
player.
what he told us. I don't know. He said he.
Well, there are like guys like Tony Gonzalez, who was he was really a basketball player turned football player.
Yeah.
I mean, there are guys like that played. Joe Sensor, for that matter, was a basketball player in college. He was not a football player. There are those examples.
I'm trying to picture
not a lot, but there are a few.
A picture of a football player being my point guard or my shooting guard or something, and I can't picture it. I can
What about
picture
like a Randy Moss or something like that?
Randy. Everyone always brings up.
He loved basketball.
I don't think he would. I don't think he could be in the NBA.
Jason Williams of a whole bunch of teams, but a former NBA player who was his high school teammate has always said that if Moss would have focused on just basketball, he could have been in the NBA easily.
I don't think so. He was too scrawny. But anyway, it's fun to talk about.
I think it wasn't it J.J. Watt who kind of roasted Austin Rivers for the comment.
I don't know. I don't care about J.J. Watt.
Watt said you don't got a job in either. He's basically Rivers.
We can't play football.
Yeah, we can.
No,
right.
we can't.
Yeah, we
no,
can.
we can't.
Shut
Austin
up.
Rivers,
Yeah.
you're doing
Austin,
a great
you're
job
right.
to
Yeah,
say
we
that
can.
we got 30 or 40 NBA players who can go play in the NFL.
Oh, we can't play football? Stand up right now. I dare you to stand right now.
Shaq, football is a good... Shaq.
Stand up right there right now.
Football is a grown man sport. We're sorry.
Shaq and Charles Barkley were arguing about it, and Shaq wanted to tackle Charles. You know what's fun about that program, aside from the obvious? And that audio that Josh just played for us is a great example. If you watch the video, Kenny Smith is sitting between them, and you know Kenny is thinking, man, this job pays so well, but I am so tired of these two morons arguing. You know what I mean?
He does always seem kind of pissed off.
I
think,
think
notice that, especially lately. He seems like he hates it.
Kenny Smith, I think, is getting tired.
You can tell
of some of what goes on that program. I think Ernie Johnson enjoys it no matter what.
He sure does.
Yep. Look at Kenny Smith's face during that argument. He's just looking at his shoes, thinking, "When are we going to commercial?"
Especially like with Barkley, it seems like anything Barkley says, it drives him nuts.
I think you're right. Kenny Smith is, he likes to have some fun, but I think there's a limit for him where he just, come on, you guys.
The unfortunate part is that show could be done at the end of this season. So.
Let's hope not.
I mean,
what
TNT
happened?
Is, I said that show could be over at the end of the season. TNT likely will lose the rights to the NBA after this season is over, and that means that show, in the current form, is not going to happen anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
Because Ernie Johnson won't leave TNT, and so NBC apparently is about to buy the rights to the NBA. And if that happens, that show likely will, in its current form, will not exist anymore.
But if NBC does get the rights, that means the return of Round Ball Rock. So kind of a plus and minus there.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, it's the John Tesh basketball.
Oh.
The original NBA and NBC theme song would be back.
Oh, I just heard, they played it the other day. I can't. That's all I can hear now is the SNL bit after that.
Yeah, right. John Tesh. Tesh, I listen to him on the radio once in a while. Love 105. Ticket King. And he's excellent.
He's easy to listen to.
He certainly is. Ticket King in Minneapolis says the worst seat in the house for Friday night's game, Timberwolves Nuggets, the worst seat in the house is $350. Worst seat in the house.
Wow.
It's pretty pricey.
Oh, of course. And not that long ago, we were talking about how much we love the Red Panda. I think she's the greatest entertainer of all time. Red Panda with the bowls and the unicycle. Star Trib wrote an article, and it's titled Halftime Performers like Red Panda, The Amazing Sleigh Deck, and Christian and Scooby are showstoppers. And I'm familiar with all of them, mostly familiar with the Red Panda and Christian and Scooby. Christian and Scooby, I told you about not that long ago. That's the terrified chihuahuas that walk on basketballs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know that Friday night for Game 3 at Target Center, the halftime show is going to be the terrified chihuahuas.
That's
awesome.
That's worth the $350 right there. Wherever you said the
they're busting out. They're busting out the top guys, the headliners. I don't know if Red Panda is going to make an appearance anytime soon, or the Amazing Sleigh Deck. I think he does tricks with chairs. He can stack up chairs about 3 stories high and balance on his testicles on top of this. But we know that Christian and Scooby, the basketball chihuahuas, will be there Friday night. That's awesome.
Speaking of tickets,
the Red Panda just here not that long ago?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought she was here not that long ago.
She did the Phoenix Suns and Wolves game when they were in Phoenix, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, in Phoenix. Gotcha. Okay.
But speaking of tickets at Target Center, the Lynx PR just sent out a press release that said, due to unprecedented demand, tomorrow at 9 a.m. they will be releasing more tickets for both games against Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark this season at Target Center.
Well, there you go.
So if you want to catch Caitlin Clark at Target Center.
What's the date of that game? What's the date of that game?
It's like Sunday, July 14th and Saturday, August 24th are the two games the Fever will be in town.
Okay.
So we know Friday night's game, the Chihuahuas walking on basketballs while looking horrified. Game 4, Sunday night. Game 5. Have you seen this character? Game 4, the halftime show at Target Center will be a speed painter who goes by the name of David Giribaldi.
That sounds awesome.
Josh, have you seen the speed painter?
No.
I saw him once in person, opening up for Kiss.
Oh, really? Is he the guy that, like, all of a sudden he'll paint something, you're like, I have no idea what that is, and then he'll turn it around and it's incredible?
Yeah.
Okay, then I have seen him.
It was a weird opening act.
Yeah, okay, I know who you're talking about.
But I think Paul Stanley, loves art and all this, and so I think that's the connection there. But the last time I went to go see Kiss, which was horrible, the opening act was this speed painter. And, exactly the way Josh described. He kind of comes out with a thing. What do people paint on?
An easel or what? A
canvas.
Yeah.
He comes out with a and he kind of goes whippity deep deep doop, and you think to yourself, "Get off the stage, you prick!" And then he turns it upside down, and it's this gorgeous mural of Jim Morrison, whatever his name was from the Doors. Jim. Jerome.
Yeah, that guy's cool. That's pretty sweet. I can't imagine watching a whole opening show of that, but a little bit of that.
Left-handed specialist just asked me the toughest question that I'll answer all day via text message. As far as greatest entertainers of all time, I have to pick one. Red Panda, David Lee Roth, or Kenny Omega.
I bet that's the first time those three have ever been used in the same sentence.
No, actually, no. They played a gig together.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Lincoln, Nebraska, 5 years ago. That was the opening act was Red Panda. Roth came out, sang some old Van Halen songs, and then Kenny Omega and
swept up the floor.
Kenny Omega and Michael. I have his T-shirt. Michael with
Nakazawa?
Michael Nakazawa.
Oh, wait. Sorry, I got that name wrong. It's Michael Nakazawa.
Thank you for correcting yourself.
With the Turkish body oil. Red Panda, David Lee Roth, or Kenny Omega?
I know who you'd want to see now, but of all time, it's got to be David Lee Roth. He's one of the greatest performers ever.
Yeah, it's Roth. Dozens of people took up that dude's offer and went on over to the tattoo shop and got their $20 Nas Reed tattoos.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
There's a waiting list.
Did the guy put out like some photos just to show?
I didn't see any.
Okay.
Do they look cool, Josh?
Yeah, it looks, the guy's hand, or I don't know what you'd call it. It's not handwriting necessarily, but it looks like he typed it out. It's so good.
Yeah, the font is really sharp.
Yeah.
Nas Reed tattoos.
He could dominate at operation, this guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect.
We told you about him yesterday. He's a tattoo artist. His name is J.C. Strobel. He went up on that godless social media and announced that he'd be dishing out $20 Nas Reed tattoos. Everybody showed up. Everybody, hundreds of people. Hey, you know who's quoted in this story? Our buddy Sean from Fan HQ.
Yeah, I saw that. That's great. I love that guy.
And he's as well spoken here in the article as he is in person. Sean said on the Nas Reed mania, it's been growing throughout the year. It's ramped up from there. It's been fantastic watching all the fans come in here to his shop there, Fan HQ, and go crazy for the Wolves. Anthony Edwards is obviously exploding nationally, and Nas Reed just locally. I mean, when your name becomes a catchphrase, I think you're doing okay.
Sean's one of those guys. I'd love to look like Sean. He's got a cool look to him. Never really had that.
You'll get there someday, Josh.
I don't think so.
I did see one person who got a Nas Reed tattoo, and he was quoting the story and said, well, I have now 3 names tattooed on my body, the other 2 my parents, and it only makes sense to also have Nas Reed's name tattooed on my body.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you said Mom, Dad, Naz Reid, 3 most important people in my life.
Stanley Cup playoffs last night. Florida beat the living hell out of Boston 6-1, so that series is square at 1 win apiece. There's a Western Canadian showdown underway. Vancouver and Edmonton playing here in the semifinals. Yes. Last night, Vancouver won 5-4. I understand the Canucks scored 3 goals in about 4.5 minutes to win that hockey game. So they lead 1-0. And I finally saw a nickname for the stupid Utah NHL team that I really like. The Utah Black Diamonds.
Ooh.
Because then every time
Kiss
they take
song.
the ice, yes, Randy knows he's a Kiss fan.
Kiss song.
Every time they take the ice, they can play the old Kiss song, Black Diamond. Not the studio version, of course, the version you hear on Kiss Alive. Did you hear me, Wapple?
Yeah.
Not the studio version, the version from Kiss Alive. That's what you play when they take the ice before they go out and lose 1-0. Black Diamonds. The Gals Club got pumped last night in the Gals Hockey League.
I guess Toronto knew the team they wanted to play, right?
Right.
They had the choice of whoever they wanted to play in the first round. They chose Minnesota, and they beat them last night. So.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to go. Doesn't look good. Not a good start. Oh, what else did I have here in front of you? In front of me, I guess I should say. Olympic gold medalist and former Golden Gopher wrestler Gable Stevenson has been contacted by multiple NFL teams following his release from the WWE. This is according to his manager. What's that noise mean?
For what?
Well, you went,
To play football?
I guess, or at least just to see if he knows how.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I think the story comes from his manager is a little suspect.
Stories coming from his manager. Now, the manager says that a few years ago, an NFL team or two called to ask about Gable Stevenson after he won those Olympic gold medals. So his manager is saying this isn't the first time NFL teams have called his cellular telephone. But, right, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the dude has any idea how to play football. The Lesnar thing was funny.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Yeah,
It sold some jerseys.
Yeah.
Who did Lesnar get in a fight with at training camp? Was it somebody notable, or is it just notable that he got in a fight?
I thought it was Goldberg.
My God, that's Goldberg music. He's here in Mankato, King.
I don't know who he got in a fight with. I don't know.
You should see those little every once in a while, right? Those Lesnar jerseys. I haven't seen one in a long time.
Oh, I have to be honest, it aggravated the piss out of me.
And, of course, remember what jersey number he wore.
Well, 69.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time we were down there at training camp.
Yep.
Doing our stupid live broadcast from stupid Vikings training camp. Well, I hated every single solitary second of that crap. But I remember the first time when we saw Lesnar walk by with his 69 jersey, I said to Josh something like, I cannot wait to see how many derelicts jump on this fire. You know what I mean? And show up around town with their 69 jerseys. I said all the wrong people are going to get their hands on those jerseys.
There were a lot of them for a while.
Oh, God. Hey, we want to say word life to the people from Big Boar Barbecue who swung by yesterday and brought us a mess of food.
Yeah, we got to thank you, Randy, for setting that up.
That stuff was amazing.
Good.
And we
you know what the benefit too is that we get to see a lot of coworkers we never see. Once there's free food out in the lobby,
they come running.
Nobody really asks who's it for or where's it from. They just kind of load up a plate and you get to see people that you haven't seen in a while.
I think some of them are even working from home. And they heard the food was here and they drove in.
There were
I imagine the conversation is something like, "Oh, you still work here? You still work here?"
They said that to us.
Dude, that's funny you say that because there were 2 or 3 on-air personalities who walked up and scooped up some Big Boar barbecue food yesterday who I thought had been fired a long time ago.
Well, you know how this place works. They may have been, but they're back. I mean, that happens so often.
And there's a special deal now.
Thanks to Alicia and those guys at Big Boar.
They stopped by yesterday, and folks should know this. For the month of May, Big Boar Barbecue in Hangover. I love Hangover, Minnesota. They're offering a Ribs for Randy promotion so you can help out the Randy Schaefer Cancer Research and Community Fund. For $19, you get a third rack of ribs, house fries, and pickles.
Oh, nice.
And $5 from each of those orders goes into Randy's Cancer Research Fund. That sounds very nice. You can make a cash donation. Yeah. Online orders work as well.
You can round up for Randy online. Makes it easy enough.
Yeah. They are fabulous contributors to what we do. I really appreciate what they do. Not only are they doing this in the month of May, but they're out on the golf course on June 3rd. And it's great because the food is fantastic and people love them. So
we found that out yesterday, that's for sure.
Also, this Saturday, it says here the Big Boar folks out there in Hangover are hosting a pet adoption event from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go get yourself a pit bull. Go to bigboarbarbecue.com.
Or a llama.
Yeah.
Ashley loves llamas.
Alpacas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But you're close.
Where are the Sesame Street? Was it Sesame Street or was it Mr. Rogers? Can anyone finish this song lyric? Me and my llama are going to the...
Oh, yeah, I know the song.
Text me, 651-989-9393 if you can finish that song lyric. 651-989.
Because they're going like to the dentist or something, right?
Ah, you son of a bitch. That's right. They're going to the dentist.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know the lyrics, though.
Well, it was
Is
simply...
it just going to the dentist?
Today.
Okay.
Looks like Sesame Street.
Well, yeah, it's definitely Sesame Street.
Me and my llama, we're going to the dentist today. I used to watch that on television when I was a little kid.
I loved Sesame Street.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And Mr. Rogers, he kept me in line. You know, he was like a Green Beret
what?
killer Navy SEAL.
He was a Navy
sniper.
SEAL sniper.
A sniper.
Sniper.
Yep.
He wears the sweaters because he has all the tattoos on his arms.
Oh, I've heard that.
Fred Rogers. Yes, he was a killer. He was a natural-born killer. Randy, there you go. We encourage people to head out to Big Boar, and it's Thursday, and tomorrow we'll have all kinds of laughs set aside for you.
Today was my Kevin Garnett day at TV.
What does that mean?
I have 21 work days left.
Oh, counting down.
I'm counting down. I'm counting down in jerseys.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
Yesterday was Mercury Morris. Today is Kevin Garnett Day.
All right. For me. Can I help you with this? 20, you got to go Dino Ciccarelli.
Tomorrow? Oh, that very good. I was thinking Mo Williams, but I'll take Dino. That's a good one.
But Jesus, Mo Williams, who gives a rat's ass?
Well, I mean, that's the first one that popped in my head. But
Mo
you're right.
Williams.
Dino's a good one.
And you're just going to do Lou Ford dirty like that?
Lou Ford doesn't matter. Not when Dino's in the mix. Lou Ford doesn't matter. 19, where would you go with 19?
Johnny U.
Okay, Johnny U, not Bernie Kosar or
No, Johnny U.
Okay.
Growing up, Johnny Unitas was my guy.
Here's the good news. For 18 and...
I'll let you... Go ahead.
We got a delay on Randy's mic. It's driving me nuts. For 18 and 15, you can go with Bobby Smith. Just so you know, he wore both numbers here in Minnesota.
Fabulous.
Let's do this every day. I want to know which athlete you're hanging on.
Yeah, these are the work days I have left, not the total days till I'm done. But I'm off a lot the month of June, so leading up to my last week. So
fair enough, Randy Shaver. Happy
cool.
KG Day, Dino Ciccarelli Day, whatever it is. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
Thank you, Randy. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our technicians are geared up and ready to make sure your system is running reliably this summer. Regular maintenance from Standard Heating helps prevent costlier breakdowns in the future, and we know they always happen at the worst times.
Summer's coming, but don't sweat it. Stay cool with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Beat the heat now and ensure comfort all summer long. Their expert technicians are ready to ensure your AC is in top shape. Call and schedule a tune-up today at 612-824-2656 or online at standardheating.com.
Welcome to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast. Guest star Sarah Carter as Alicia Baker, although I didn't really work with her a lot. But Tom did, and they had some real big smoochy scenes.
Yeah. Can we talk about that?
Could there be any more sex? What was a 3-page makeout scene that just kept going? Good Lord, we get it. They have chemistry.
Jump in now or catch up on any of the past seasons of Talkville on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
All right, let's do this now. Let's give it our best, at least. Welcome back to the 93X Half-assed morning show as we're getting there. 8:34. My clock says 8:34 in the godforsaken AM. Josh, I hate to put you on the spot. Do what you can here. You like to read?
I do.
You read books and such?
I do. Often.
In your lifetime, how many books have you read?
Oh, man. Well, I have no idea. So I didn't like reading as a kid. Not very much.
Right.
I mean, I like choose-your-own-adventure books and stuff like that, or if we were forced to read. But I don't know. I usually...
Choose-your-own-adventure books.
Oh, you didn't like those?
Oh, those are fun.
Those are so fun.
Well, now, hang on. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Which would be a first? You talking about things like Dungeons and Dragons?
No. A series of books where they would say, if you would make this choice, turn to this page, or this choice, turn to that page.
Oh.
So your choices determine how the story turns out.
Okay.
Which is an allusion to life, by the way.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Walt.
A lot of the times you would kill yourself, or like the path you took, you'd die. And then people would be like, no, I still had my hand on the page. Yeah. I didn't really go to that side.
I didn't know you could cheat.
Yeah.
There was, at times, there was instant death in children's books.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be like you went down the corridor and the robots started attacking you and now you're dead.
That all sounds pretty badass. Okay, so, I mean, you get it on from time to time, right, Josh, with the wife or anyone else if the opportunity presents itself?
Yes.
How many Cubby-style bone downs have you delivered in your lifetime?
So in this topic you're about to bring up,
yes,
that would be one of my answers. I'd like to know my body count, how many bone downs, as you put it.
Bone downs.
And how many burritos I've consumed.
You've eaten a lot of burritos.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to see your lifetime burrito number.
And I want to put it like in fun terms, like the equivalent of this many blue whales you've eaten in burritos.
Oh, sure. Like maybe the amount of burritos that have entered your submissive mouth. The amount of those burritos
how many freight trains is that?
Add up to the size of a freight train.
How many times can it wrap around the world?
Right. Well, you must have a pretty decent idea how many bone downs that you've delivered.
I have no clue. I don't know.
What do you mean, no clue?
How would you know? Are you talking about just individual people, or how? I thought you meant like times you've done it.
Oh, yeah.
You're saying how many bone downs?
I mean, maybe I wasn't completely clear.
If you're talking like body count.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I have a general idea.
Yes.
But
okay.
I'm not 100%, but I have, yeah.
Right.
Oh, you don't keep a list like girls do?
No.
Girls keep lists?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I know some, well, at least when we were in 9th grade, I knew
Right.
some dudes who kept the list. Yes, I confused things. At first, I was talking about total sexual encounters in your entire lifetime, and then my brain went sideways, and then I turned it into a body count. Right. Who here would have any idea how many times they've actually had sex? That'd be almost impossible to answer the question. But the reason why I'm grilling Josh with these difficult questions is they were going that route on the useless social media. This was a conversation that all the social media dorks and 8th graders were having. When you die and you can see all the stats of your life, what stat would you look up first?
Yeah, I mean, the ones I mentioned, body count, I mean, because I have an idea, but I wanted the exact number. Mm-hmm. How many burritos? Go ahead.
Maybe something cute, like how many times did I make somebody else laugh?
Well, we could count that on
Stuff
2
like
hands.
that. That'd be fun.
Ashley, we could count that up pretty easily.
I'd like to know how many hours of my life I spent asleep.
Oh, I think
I'd
that would
be
make me
interested in
mad.
that.
You know what you don't want to look up, Josh? You don't want to look up work hours versus how do you call it? Leisurely hours.
Yeah, I know nobody would believe it or even care, but you're right. There's a lot of work hours.
Dude, you don't want to look that up. That would put you in such a deep depression.
Yep.
Or amount of hours I've spent trying to sleep, not asleep. Just how many times I've laid there tossing and turning, not able to sleep. That would be a depressing number for me.
You know, I'd be a lot of bodily functions I'd be curious about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like...
pee-pee, poo-poo.
Yeah, I pee-pee a lot.
Yeah. Did I fill a swimming pool in my life?
This morning,
fill the Grand Canyon.
This morning I peed for over 2 minutes, and that's not that uncommon. And I can tell because that's how long my toothbrush goes for, right? And so I was almost laughing, like, I'm still going. This is incredible. So I wonder what Minnesota body of water I could fill. Like, you name whatever it is that in a lifetime I have peed Lake Harriet or something like that.
You really urinated for 2 full minutes?
It was more than 2, yeah, because my teeth was... I brush at the same time, right? And I was still going.
That's incredible.
Well, I wish you were there.
I wish I would have been there as well.
It's my fault. I chugged a Gatorade immediately before bed.
It was so stupid. Yesterday, I was standing next to Josh, and we were going to the bathroom. Josh looks over to me, and he's like, I really didn't have to pee. And I'm like, yeah, kind of me too. All of a sudden, I wash my hands, walk out, and Josh is like, still going. Yeah. I'm like, dude, sir, you did have to go.
That's insane.
But go ahead and text us, 651-989-9393. And tell us if there's a stat that you would look up about yourself. Once you die, let's say you receive a printout of all of these stats. How many times you've done this, that. What stat would you want to see first, okay? Go ahead and text us that. Now, it's Ashley, a minute ago, you said maybe something silly like how many times you made somebody laugh. And that brings me to this comment here from the article. Listen to this and see if you follow and you notice what I noticed.
By the way, real quick, Ashley,
Yes.
you've made me laugh a ton of times.
Thanks, Josh.
It was just a joke earlier,
I know.
and not a very good one.
I understand.
At your
It was
expense.
great.
Well, we laugh at her.
No, but we're supposed to be laughing with her.
I don't do that.
And you got me with something yesterday that I forget what it was, and no offense, but even yesterday after the show, it got me.
She's very funny. She's a fun person to be around. She's very funny. So listen to this statement. I want to know how many lives I've changed for the better.
Oh, barf.
Just hang on now. Hang on. People fixate so much on themselves that they forget they're not the main character on this planet. But wait a minute. What you just said is very self-serving and made it sound like you're the most important person on the planet.
You know, it's disappointing because there's a person that I respect a great deal and really, really like. And you and I were at an event where she was asked a question, and she had gone through a real tough time. And again, like I said, I really like this person. But what she said was so douchey, I don't think I'll ever forget. And it was along those lines about the lives she's touched and the difference she's made on people.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Well, that's a little grandiose for what we're talking about, but okay, if that's how you feel.
Yeah, I don't want to get into any further detail.
No.
I don't want to.
I don't either, but it was
disappointing.
It was, because of the type of person I know her to be.
I change lives.
That's what they said.
That's what I do, and I enjoy doing it. I alter people's lives on a daily basis.
No. You spin songs like the rest of us. That's about it.
So go ahead, text us the stat that you would look up about your life. What numbers would you check out first? Of course, you get the easy answers. My masturbation,
I would be interested in that. All that stuff, a lot of bodily function stuff, I'd be kind of curious.
Okay, but there's some numbers that I would skip. I don't need to know, hey, look how many times I whacked off. I don't need to. There's so many more.
See, it would be interesting for me to know how many pounds of marijuana I smoked, but I would not want to know how much money I spent on that marijuana.
And the same would go for drinkers and gamblers, and you know what I'm saying?
I would love those stats because I rarely drink. I mean, when I did for like a couple years in my early 20s is when I did. But Since then, it's very infrequent. So I'd love to compare my numbers to your guys'.
Josh's is $17.
I'd be very curious just to see the gap. Maybe it'd be closer in some regards than I think, but I highly doubt it.
There will be a huge gap.
Because you guys are, I know, Nick, you're a daily drinker.
Yes, I enjoy beer every damn day.
Is anyone else here a daily drinker?
Not a daily, but
not
weekends.
Anymore. Yeah, every
liquor
weekend.
store and bars.
SAWFT soft.
So every
Can't do it
weekend.
anymore.
Every weekend, you say.
Well, you don't have to get drunk, Ashley.
It's just wasted calories if you're not catching a
Oh,
buzz.
here we go. I know someone who can help you with those calories. She changes.
You know what's funny is somebody texted in and said they'd like to know how many calories they've eaten versus how many they've burned.
Oh, stop it with that. But Josh, imagine you're such a prolific urinator. Imagine, and you were wondering, what lake in Minnesota could my urine match up with? Imagine if you were a drinker.
Shoot. Yeah, you're right.
Your penis would fall off.
Yeah,
Imagine if you were a drinker, because that makes you take a whiz bang.
Minnesota would be underwater right now.
They're calling in the National Guard to set up sandbags. No!
I feel like the movie Waterworld. We're all just floating around on rafts looking for dry land.
Matt Stafford, a listener named Matt Stafford, texted in and said, I'd like to know how many times someone has said, like the quarterback, after I introduced myself.
That's good.
I bet it's just, they don't even think about it. It just comes out.
Yep.
Life stats. When you die, you can see all the stats of your life. What stat would you look up first? We'll get into this a little further when we come back on the program. Oh, God, we're getting there now. We're getting there. We got some great answers here via our text machine from our brilliant listening audience, talking about life stats. And this is how it plays out. You die, and we're all going to do it. Some of us sooner than others. When you die, let's say they hand you a damn report, all the stats of your life, all the numbers on every damn thing you ever did. What stat would you look up first? We got some great answers from our listeners.
Deep thinkers out there.
Absolutely.
Some really good ones.
Yeah.
This one's kind of cute, although I think she probably can do the arithmetic here, but it's just cute to talk about. A listener lady says, how many pairs of underwears I've bought in my life so far? I'm 30 years old and I have an underwears subscription.
I didn't know you could get one of those.
Oh, yeah, those are sweet.
What makes them sweet?
You just don't have to ever worry about buying new underwear. I swear, underwear is one of those things. It's like socks. Like, it's just constantly disappearing. Like, one day I could have 30 pairs. A month later, somehow I have 10.
Have you ran the backgrounds of your neighbors? Sounds like there's a panty raid going on at your place. I've got the same stuff from high school.
Really?
How are you losing all your
aren't-
underwear?
Girls aren't like that. And, like, eventually you can't use a pair for too long.
This one's
Did
interesting.
you put a little bacon stain in the back? Okay, yeah, I get it.
What's wrong with you?
Well, what?
Her, not you.
Oh.
Why is she doing that?
I don't know. Why can't you keep your butt?
That's gross.
This gal says she gets 3 new pair of drawers a week for her little bottom.
Wow.
For the last 12 years.
Oh, wow. She's got
so
some
she can do
drawers.
the arithmetic on that, but I just thought it was cute that she has an underwears subscription.
I didn't even know that existed.
All right. This was a very popular answer on the life stat number that you just want to get a look at once you die. How many times I almost died before I finally died?
Oh,
I wonder about that too sometimes. If you left a minute early or a minute later, you know, or made a choice to go someplace and then last second you decided it wasn't going to work out, or you know, how many times that came to be.
You know, maybe the airplane you were on, you know, had this or that happened, you could have died. But sure.
Like we were just talking earlier about a pedestrian that was nearly killed right here on campus. A car crash and a car right next to them. I mean, within inches. If that person walked a step faster, they would have been dead, likely.
Yep. Here, that was a very popular answer. How many times I almost died
That's a
before
good one.
I finally checked out?
And on a lighter topic, people were wondering how many times they almost hooked up with somebody out of their league. Like if they would have just said one thing different or stayed a little longer, how close they came to something
That
like
was a big one. How many folks out there wanted to bang me and I never knew?
Yeah, you missed an opportunity.
Missed a signal, missed an opportunity.
Or you just thought there's no way that person would actually want to hook. They're just being friendly.
Right, yeah. They're way out of my league, but maybe you could have. People along those same lines, people are wondering, how many times has somebody pleasured themselves to me? People have asked.
Whoa,
I'd like to know if just one would be cool. That's all I need. But yeah, a lot of texts on that. I thought this was funny, and people could probably relate if you're in a relationship. how many times my wife said she told me something versus how many times she did, because I'm convinced she's gaslighting me, from Best Husband Ever Jesus.
How many Eskimo brothers I have? Wow.
Oh.
That could take a lot of arithmetic, depending on who you are, how many total Eskimo brothers you have.
Yeah, I'd like to get a mathematician on that. How you would, let's say you're with five significant others, 5 partners. Like and you say, okay, the average person has sex with this many people. You factor in their age, all that kind of stuff.
You're getting into quadruple digits.
Astronomical.
Yeah.
Do something to the 10th power at that point,
How much money I've made while sitting on the toilet at work taking a dump. Get the money, get the number on that.
Gilf Jesus is 59, works since she was 16, wants to know how much total money she's made. Is it in the millions? How much money have I made throughout your lifetime? That'd be interesting to know, too.
Yeah,
Or sad, I guess, either way.
This was also a very popular answer. This was a popular answer amongst our listening audience on what life stat you would like to see first once you die. I want to know how many murderers that I've crossed paths with in my lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even somebody you knew personally.
Oh, yeah, I know 2 for sure that went to jail for it. But yeah, you do wonder, like, maybe you had a nice interaction with someone at a store or whatever, and they went home and murdered 5 people.
Right. This is similar, but much lighter. I want to know how many people walk past me, a listener says. I want to know how many people walked past me and thought to themselves, man, that guy looks like a real douche.
I worry about that.
Way too many.
Teeny Weeny Jesus thinks about this all the time. He said, I want to know how many gas station chuck wagons I've consumed. Has to be thousands, he said. Yeah, like for me with burritos, I was wondering the same thing. Or maybe any food product. I just want to know the top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe there'd be a surprise in there.
What you said earlier, like, want to visualize it, Josh. Like, I'd like to see a stack of the pizza boxes that I've gone through. Like one on top of the other, how high that would go.
Yeah, would you reach skyscraper level?
Mm-hmm.
Josh, earlier you said if you were to look these numbers up, you would be interested in bodily functions.
Yes, definitely.
Here's a listener who wants to know how much, how did they put this? How many farts I've farted. That's gross.
You're an audio recording of your entire history.
I drive a Hyundai, but ride your dad, Jesus says. As a woman, I'd like to know how many times I actually reached the big O. That'd be interesting. Most guys are lucky where it's every time. And unfortunately not the same for women, it sounds like.
A listener wants to know how many times my anxiety was wrong.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a question you got to ask yourself. Why is my brain lying to me right now?
That would piss me off.
If you found out it was just lying to you more often than not?
Yeah.
How many times my anxiety was wrong? Like Josh, you said a minute ago about the guy who was worried about people walking past him and thinking, man, that guy looks like a douche. You actually worry about things like that.
All the time. Yeah.
Which is, come on. Which is, you shouldn't put yourself through that.
I don't want to, but yeah, it just kind of happens.
That's anxiety, right?
Is that douchey of me?
It's not.
Self-doubt.
Mrs. Jeweler, she just said she wants to know how many miles she put on her bike when she was a kid. I'd be interested in that, too. That's all we did. That was our freedom, getting on the bike. And that was back in the days where you were gone in the summer except for meal times. And your parents just opened the door, let you go, and you were biking everywhere.
Yep. I'd like to see how many miles I've driven. I feel like I drive a lot. That'd be kind of cool.
You should get an odometer in your vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would help. I want to know how many times I let my dogs out to go to the bathroom. It's got to be just astronomical.
How about how many hours you've spent waiting at a red light? Got a lot of texts on that one, too.
Or just like waiting in line in general or something. Oh, that.
You know what, Wapple? I don't want to wait. For my life to be over.
Solid tune.
I got one more really good one here on my end. I guess we got to get the hell out of here. This is just one final on my end that I found really interesting. If there's anything that I would have been a prodigy at if I had just given it a shot, like an instrument or a sport.
That's a great one.
That is a fun question.
Yeah, that is a really good one.
To think of a sport that you never tried. Okay, I've never tried lacrosse. Maybe I'm the best there's ever been. You know what I mean?
I think about that sometimes when I start playing like a new sport or a new activity. I'm like, oh, I get excited because I'm like, watch me just be so good at it the first time. Like, this is what I'm meant to do with my life. But no, it never works out that way.
I hope on our deathbed, St. Peter or whoever it is shows up and hands us this printout. Or sends us a text. Maybe that's more nowadays.
A PDF.
I'd love to know some of that stuff. And I'd love to know that about some stats about my friends, too. I'd be curious about that.
What do you want to know about me?
Well, a lot of the things we talked about.
You want to know how many times I masturbated? You sick bastard.
You know, I'll be honest, I would be kind of curious at that number. Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, thank you to everyone for participating. That was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Got some stuff to think about now. Some
We
things
do.
to be curious about. Good luck to Sean from Prescott going in for surgery today. He's going to have some cancer removed. Please check back. Let us know how that goes. Happy 27th birthday to Separated Shoulders Jesus. Headed to the Twins game this afternoon to celebrate his birthday. That's a nice way to do it. And happy birthday to Derek.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Stay cool with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Beat the heat now and ensure comfort all summer long. Their expert technicians are ready to ensure your AC is in top shape. Call and schedule a tune-up today at 612-824-2656 or online at standardheating.com.